You're listening to The Starting Block on TAVshow.com.
The following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron or a member of the PTL Club, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who wouldn't know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you.
Okie dokie, roll 'em!
Nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need some kind of change.
Hey, welcome to the Starting Block for another week. Big show as always. We got media word of the week. We got some advice. We got story times. We got cancel everything. The hot stove is back, ladies and gentlemen. All that and much, much more here on the block. Greeno here from the Starting Block. On behalf of the block, we just wanted to let you all know that we're all in this together. Well, except if you have coronavirus, then stay the fuck away. But in every other situation, we're in it together. To all of you on the front lines, those of you turning a footstool, a wok, and a pitchfork into a home gym, those of you who have given your housemates a mental breakdown because you decided lockdown was a great time to learn the keyboard and the only thing you can play after 8 weeks is chopsticks over and over and over again. And those of you who are homeschooling and are now understanding the question you used to harass your maths teacher with of, when the fuck are we ever going to need to know this in the real world, is coming back to bite you on the ass. Just remember, like a 1990s Australian sitcom, we're all in this together. The days may be long, but in times like this, you can rest assured we will be here to waste an hour of your week, Friday nights Australian time, at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. So take care, social distance, whack on a mask, and subscribe to our show on iTunes. It may not cure coronavirus, but it sure will help us with our rankings. And isn't that really the most important thing right now?
Public Radio's loss is TAVshow.com's game. You're listening to The Starting Block.
Hey, welcome to the Starting Block for another week. You've got myself, Greeno, and I'm joined by a man who I've been speaking with for the last hour plus, but we just forgot that we had to start a show. My co-captain, Zamo. How are we, sir?
Very good, Greeno. Good evening to you, boys, girls, listenership, blockheads, millions around the world. Yeah, it's we were only just discussing it. This was actually probably the first legitimate pre-show that we've ever done, I think.
Yeah, and it wasn't really a pre-show. It was kind of like a pre-show chat. Normally, we generally do have a pre-show chat.
Yeah.
As a matter of course, and
but not about the show though. Like it's just about
it's
life.
never about the show.
It's just like how's the wife, how's the kids? Yeah, good.
It only takes 5:10.
Yeah.
Today, hour 15.
Yeah, and we were talking about, just work-life stuff and, I actually mentioned to Greeno, it's a shame that we can't put that out as a podcast and call it like corporate life because I think that would go viral, but unfortunately if we did that, then we would have to rename the show Unemployed Life within a week because we'd both lose our jobs.
Breach of non-disclosure agreement life.
Yeah.
Those kind of things.
Oh, it's a shame, isn't it? But there really is like this, like not to get too specific, but it's clear that, as a kind of greenhorn in the corporate world, I think that the most challenging thing that I've found is dealing with egos. It's not something that you would think. I bet that people who have lived in the corporate world their whole working life imagine that there's a lot of ego in the blue collar world, but that's not really the case. In the blue collar world, you don't really deal with ego much at all because you don't get an opportunity to have an ego in the blue collar world because people will cut you down in the first 5 seconds that they're talking with you. Like if you walk into a blue collar job and you've got an ego, within 5 minutes, someone's going to say, you're a fucking wanker, mate. Don't be a dickhead, But you can't, if you've got a manager or, like some fucking overlord in the corporate world who's being a dickhead and being a wanker, if you were to come out like in an email or something and say, stop being a fucking dickhead, mate, you'd be out. You'd be done within 20 minutes. You're gone, But in the blue collar world, that's just part of the reality of living and working in the blue collar world. Hey, don't be a fucking idiot, mate. It's actually more, it's far more honest, I think. Blue collar.
The simplest way I kind of put it is I never realized because I was kind of similar coming in from like just kind of working retail into
retail
the
service
world.
industry.
Yeah. Corporate world and have been in there for way too many years. But the simplest way, I didn't realize the movie Office Space wasn't a comedy, it was actually a documentary.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it really is.
Of corporate, like in corporate world, Office Space has never been more accurate. I saw that movie before I worked in the corporate world and laughed. I'm like, this is a really, really funny movie, very, very good. And then I watched it back, and after being in the corporate world, I'm like, this is way too accurate.
It is. It's funny you bring that up because it was only yesterday when I was having a chat with a friend in the corporate world, and we both kind of we share similar views on things outside of work, so we get on really well. And I brought up to him, he mentioned like, this person's fucking useless. And I'm like, yeah, I think their job is actually like, what springs to mind when I think of this particular person in their role is that scene in Office Space where they sit that guy down. It's like, so what would you say you do? Yeah, I literally made the lines. It's like, I take the orders from the goddamn customers and give it to the engineers. I'm a people person. It's like, so why couldn't the customers just give it directly to the engineers? It's like, I'm a people person. It's like, so you offer nothing here, do you? We were just having that conversation yesterday. There are so many sponges in this world, man. There are so many. So you can't afford to be a sponge in the blue collar world. You just can't. A lazy guy on a building site doesn't last a day. He doesn't.
Like, hey, dickhead, pick up a hammer. What the fuck are you doing?
Hey, bro,
why stand there?
Hey, what are you doing, man?
Come on, hold this.
It's little things like, in the corporate world, it's quite acceptable for people to kind of show up late and kind of stand around having chats, drinking coffee and stuff. But in the blue collar world, that stuff is just not acceptable. Like, hey, if everyone's on the tools at 7 a.m., you better be on the fucking tools at 7 a.m.
Why isn't Jim here?
Yeah, now I've
showed up fucking sick or dead.
Yeah, look, I've showed up late to blue collar jobs before, but it's an embarrassing thing to do. Like you rock up and you're like, I'm so sorry, guys, because you're actually leaving people hanging. It's like this is a 4-man job and there's only it's a 4-man job and there's only 3 of us here. What the fuck, bro? It's a very embarrassing, and you make sure you don't do it again because you don't want to let your bros down as well. That's the other thing. Because you're all in this boat together. Whereas in the corporate world, it's like everyone's kind of their own little island to a degree, and it's like, it's none of your business when I answer the phone kind of thing. It's none of your business when I get to your email. Like you send someone an email and they don't reply for a week, and then if you follow up, you're the arsehole. It's like, look, I'll get to you. It's like, fuck, the entitlement here is just fucking rife, It's like, hey, we need shit done. Like, we needed it done yesterday. You can't just sit on this. I get you're really important, but I know you're too important to answer to someone that's underneath you. And then that's the whole ego thing coming in, you know? Oh, you're too important to answer this right now. I get it. You've got big things going. You've got big fucking plans, you know?
Big plans.
I take the orders from the fucking goddamn customers. I'm a people person, you know?
I haven't got that.
Right?
How do you not understand? Can you hit a story time button for me, please, sir?
I certainly can. Welcome to the show, everyone, by the way.
I like stories about pinatas.
Gonna be a big story time, I think, today. I think it's just gonna be all story times, and we're gonna hard out.
Yeah.
Had the day off today. Now, was undecided whether it would be a day off or not because it was for the daughter's athletics carnival today. Now, yesterday afternoon at about 5 p.m., I looked outside my door and it looked like it was midnight at 5 p.m. when the suns are meant to be up. And I'm like, well, this is not boding well for there being an athletics carnival on a nice, beautiful field with this pissing down rain. Thankfully, woke up this morning, was able to take my annual leave day. Everyone's happy. Nice. The kiddo got to do her little thing.
So a bit of high jump, bit of long jump in the mud, bit of fucking 100-meter dash.
Without going into specifics,
Shot put.
The particular grade my child is in, it doesn't cover all the bases. This is still kind of like a participation.
So ball games, Greeno.
Bit of that. Do you remember a bit of tunnel ball, bro?
Greeno, bro. This is a story time within a story time. Yeah. I mentioned ball games because we actually, the school that Greeno and I were in, because you were in the ball games team, were you not? I was.
I do love them. Yeah, I was there.
But see, we were like the one school out of the dozen schools in our district or whatever that took the ball games like really fucking seriously. So every other school put like the useless kids who couldn't play sport in their ball games team. We actually handpicked like all of the really good athletic people. So we fucking dominated that.
That was Sport Wednesday.
So every other school,
tunnel ball.
Yes.
What was the one where
we had training and everything?
It was a line of 5. You passed to the dude in front. He went down. You passed to the second dude. They passed back. That dude sat down, and you had to get to the end, and then you rotated. What was
we
that
had
game?
like all the I can't remember the names of them, but we had like all the top footy players and stuff. So they were really good with like ball, having a ball in their hands, kind of thing, like hand-eye coordination and stuff. We had basketball players, right?
That's why I was in the team because I couldn't shoot for shit, but I could fucking pass the ball. So I get Greeno in there. He's all good.
And don't let modern life and modern culture fool you out there. If you're a listener, there is nothing more satisfying than dominating against a field of retards from other schools. Trust me. Every other school had their like retarded kids that couldn't do any of the other sports. We actually pulled in like all of the fucking dominating sports guys from all of our other sports there because our school was like a little school in comparison to everyone, but we were really good at sports. Like that was our thing, We were dominant in like swimming, athletics. Our footy team was really good. We had no right to be like the best team.
Yeah, you're looking like
school team.
This thing, there, like
we were the smallest school.
It isn't the sports school, and you're like,
no, we're just a school. No, it's a Western Sydney school where everyone plays sports all the time. Like we were just a sports mad suburb, So we had like the best. We won every single ball game against every other school. It's like we got #1 trophies for every single thing, to the point where the teachers must have been like, "This is unfair," Like we dominated those fucking kids.
The athletes,
because if we're in it, we may as well win it, right?
We're going to send some kids. We're going to send the good ones.
I've always had the attitude that, look, winning isn't everything, but it's far more enjoyable than losing. So you may as well try and win,
Exactly. So the structure for today is like rock up early, get yourself a nice little beach chair and you sit there and watch the kids do activities.
Got to get there early too so you can, I'm sure that it's a parent real estate kind of issue. Yeah,
kind of got there a good hour. Good nice little spot near a tree, nice little shade where we're all good.
Fuck off, seats taken kind of thing. When do other parents kind of try and get in and schmooze in on your action? Oh look, they got the shady tree. That's the spot I wanted.
There's a lot of trees around, so there's plenty of shady spots. So it was all good. So anyway, it's kind of split up into half day, like 2 half days, right? So the first half is like running races. The second half is those ball events and fun activities.
Mm-hmm.
So we're sitting there, we're watching everyone doing the running races, and it's all very good. And fucking little nice Gary, to your goddaughter, she got third in the running race.
Good girl. Fucking good on her. Love it.
Pretty good.
She's got the frame of a little long distance runner, I think.
But this was sprints. This is
Sprints?
100 meters.
Okay.
So this was just like a rocket, and I was like the cheering on Dad on the sideline because she was looking over. It's like, hey, there's Dad. Fucking keep running, man. Keep running.
Don't stop.
Head down.
Do not stop.
Look at me after the fucking. You get to me.
After we dominate every other kid, that's when you can look at
dominate.
me. You'll get ice cream
Exactly.
on the way home.
Got up on the podium, was all very, very good.
Yep.
So anyway, we get through all the running events, and then there's a call out.
Yep.
Going, we now need all the parents to the marshalling area for the parents v teachers 100 meter sprint.
Oh,
And I'm looking,
fuck.
and I'm like, no, I wasn't fucking thought about this.
No, this was not in the newsletter.
This was not in the newsletter. So I go up to my daughter.
I've been
and
on
I'm
the
like,
can since 9 a.m.
"Yeah,
I'm
there's
not
no
fit for
cans.
purpose here.
I was just Red Bulled up. I'm all good. So I was ready. I was ready to go.
Yeah.
So I go up to the daughter. I'm like, hey, do you want me to run in this? And she's like, yes, I do.
Oh,
and
no.
I'm like, well, I can't let the little kid down.
Yeah.
But I'm also scoping the landscape.
Looking at your
I-
competition.
No, because all I see is women coming up. And I'm
Oh,
like, well, hang
no.
on, I might have a free pass here. Because I'm not fucking running.
Sexist and misogynist and chauvinist.
I
and
can't be the
sexist.
only bloke running against the women. Like, I'm not going to identify as a woman just for the sake of this fucking running race
Why
here.
not?
It's just fucking doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'm like, I might get out of this. I've already said yes to the kid, made her happy.
Yeah.
And then slowly but surely, I see like another half a dozen dads start rocking up. And I'm like, okay, this is all right.
So the
It's all
women,
fine.
so the women were obviously keen for like to get in first, you know, like, yeah, let's go, let's have a crack, ladies. And the dads were like, do I have to?
Do I have to? Yeah, exactly. And I didn't want to seem too keen either because I'm like, well, the only dude standing here. So I waited for other people to rock up and I wandered on over.
See,
to
in
the
that
marshal.
moment, I would revert back to the Krusty the Clown school of parenting, which is one of my most favorite quotes of all time from not just The Simpsons, but just a life quote in general, which is, look, kid, I'm not the kind of dad who says things or does stuff.
Yeah.
That would be my response to that.
I'm in the marching area. I see some dads come over and I'm looking around and I'm like, look, in my head, I'm like, this is kind of like a fun activity event, right?
Yeah, but you want to win.
It's a bit of comedy value. We're going to make the parents and teachers race against each other.
Yep.
This is all good.
Yep.
So I assume this is going to be a fucking gentle jog down the 100 meters.
Well, now talk to me about okay, so you've spoken about the mums and the dads. Now talk to me, what was the talent kind of assessment of the teacher situation? Because I know that statistically 70% or thereabouts of teachers are females for a start. Yep. And I imagine a lot of them are overweight because they're teachers and they don't kind of move around a lot. So, and there's probably a lot of boomers in there. So like 50, 60-year-olds, would that be kind of hitting the mark? They would be like the majority?
Way off on your assessment, sir.
So it's a lot of young teachers, is it?
We had a lot of fit.
See, you're out. I know why now, because you're out of Sydney. Yeah. So the only place that you can get teaching jobs now is if you're out of the major metropolitan areas.
Not even that. Like these are still young and aspiring people.
Oh no, that's the worst kind of teacher. They still have goals and dreams and ambitions. So no,
amazing. They're still young. They're still fit. They're still energetic. They're keen. They're good to go. So plenty lined up. Now on the male side of things, zero.
Not one male teacher.
One male teacher rocked up.
Jesus.
So we're looking around and all we see is just fucking 8 dads who are standing here for this. So
we better beat the shit out of these women, boys. It's on us.
They end up, okay, look, we'll let the women teachers versus the women parents run first, and then we'll do the men's race.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, excellent. We don't even need to beat the teachers here, boys. This is so good. Fucking, we can gravy train this bad boy all the way to the 100-meter line. Happy days. We move it down to the kindergarten line where we do 60. This would be great. Yeah. And then I look around and I'm looking to my left. And you know me, bro. I'm what, 5'6"? Yeah. 5'6", 5'7". Yeah. There or thereabouts. Very short man. So sprinting
you're not very short. You're short compared to me because I'm 6'5".
I'm not Danny DeVito short, but I'm like
you're not Danny DeVito short. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm adult short.
But you bulk as well though, so it kind of levels out.
It balances. So I look to my left and I see 3 dads who are 6'5", and I look to my right and I see another 2 dads who are like 6'2", 6'3". And
okay, so the 6'5" guys, you only have to worry about them if they're skinny because in a 100-meter dash situation, their legs are longer, so they can
live on the beach, bro. They are all skinny and they all look like athletes.
See, the problem for a short guy in a sprinting, I'm getting into my sports science stuff.
Yeah, yes.
But the problem, it's scientific. All of sports is a science, right?
All science, yeah.
So the problem for short guys in sprinting is that you have to take more steps than the tall guys do. That's why people are like, why is Usain Bolt so fast? And it's quite simple, actually. His legs are very long. That's why he's the fastest guy.
He takes like 9 steps in 100 meters.
Like clearly, also he's like a natural athlete and he trains very hard. And
he's also juiced to the gills.
Yeah, so perhaps, maybe. But it's more to do with like his leg span than it is, and his fast twitch muscles than it is like anything else.
He's literally got ostrich legs, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's how he runs.
100%. So little guys struggle. But this is also why little guys are better at long distance stuff because they're carrying around less frame.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
So they have more endurance. Yeah.
I'm looking at my left. I'm like 6'5", and then right 6'2". But I'm also thinking there, and I'm doing that sports science math in my head. I'm like, well, hang on, these guys have like 20 kilos on me.
Yeah.
Because they are 6'5", 6'2". This could come to my advantage.
Okay.
But I also, back in my mind, as I've already said, hey man, this is a bit of like shits and giggles. We're just doing this because our kids ask us. Yeah. We're not taking this seriously, right?
Aren't we?
And then,
aren't we though? Sounds like if you're already Greeno, I'm sorry. If you're already doing the sports science equations, you've already started taking it seriously.
I haven't, because I'm sitting there going, no, we're sweet. We're just doing it because kids. Everyone's like, this is gonna be. But then I see boys stretching, and I'm like, hang on. What's
Jade Fonda geriatric bullshit.
Yeah, that's bullshit. You know,
Billy Ho.
So like,
we go and sizzler.
100%. So then it's like, okay, up to the line. And I have not run a 100-meter race since fucking high school, eh?
I've barely done a brisk walk since high school, Greeno, let alone a run.
I've done a baseball. That's fucking like 90 feet. Like, I'm not running at 100. Like, I sprint hard for fucking 90 feet. I'm going to get to first base.
Listener, you need to know the backstory here. So, obviously, like, we talked about how our school was a very sporty school. Now, I was a swimmer, but when it came to running, athletics, sports weren't really my thing. But I was pretty quick at like 100 meters because, again, I'm tall. So I had like the long leg span. So I always smashed Greeno in like the sprints. But when it came to the cross-country stuff, Greeno was actually qualified for district in cross-country. Cross-country was quite good because the way it would work generally is I would fucking leave him for dead in the first like kind of 20% of the cross country, and then he would eventually just run past me. See you, mate. Yeah. See you at the end. I'm like, fuck a little cunt. I was barely breathing at that point, you know. And he's just started, you know, like trot, 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 trot. Off he goes, you know.
Oh, good. Yeah. So I'm at the start line and like, oh yeah, gentlemen, take your marks. Yeah. And we're all right, boys, at the end, all good. Yeah. And then ready, set, go. And I start jogging, and then I look up and I see fucking people 20 meters ahead.
Old mate's going for it, going for the win.
Yeah. Everyone. Yeah. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't realize we were taking
No, because you can't come last in front of your daughter as well.
100%. So at that point, I'm like 20 minutes in, I'm like, I gotta fucking start busting ass here.
Yeah.
So then I start.
It's also, if I can interrupt, it's also a testament to just how slow you were going that you had an opportunity to make this decision 20 meters into the race. Like,
and you're like, oh, we're doing this seriously, and we're 20 minutes in. Fuck, I get 80 to make up.
Lucky I've still got 30 seconds to go, so I can figure it out on the way.
So it turns out the long leg span of the gentleman too good for me in the end.
But if you had started with the right mindset, you probably could have challenged because you're a fit guy.
They still would have beat me. Everyone fucking running was pretty fit to be fair.
Do you skip leg day, Greeno?
No, I definitely don't skip leg day.
Okay.
But so I finished a respectable fourth. Like I kind of finished middle of the pack.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, everyone's fucking like in bit. Like everyone better sprint to frame than me at middle leg long.
Oh, you take fourth then. You take fourth in a handicap. If you had been running the stall gift for dads, you would have come in first. Yeah.
So the only thing I took out of that though is fucking. You know what I'm doing for the next 12 months, bro? Nothing but leg day.
And don't forget cardio. Don't neglect cardio.
And cardio. It's nothing but cardio and leg day. So you're gonna see, like, remember the old photo of Greeno with my six pack?
Yeah.
That's gone, bro. You're gonna come back. I'm gonna be Quadzilla. Just for kinder to two athletics.
You're going to be looking like an Olympic cyclist.
Olympic cyclist.
Crack coconuts on his fucking quads, mate. It's ridiculous.
Look out. This is going to be a thing of beauty next year. I'm going to be running in 11 seconds.
So you're trading in the Anthony Hardaway shirt for the bike shorts, Greeno, when you go drop the kids off at school.
Exactly. So yeah, no upper body this year, nothing but leg day, just to dominate the parents v teachers over 40s men's.
And see, folks, this is why our school dominated the ball games when we were kids. It's because of this mentality. We're not accepting fucking fourth place. We don't do fourth here. We don't.
Yeah.
It's like, no. I don't give a fuck. You're like, I thought this was a fun fucking thing, but you guys took it seriously. Now, that was your worst mistake because now I'm going to fucking take it seriously.
That's it. You can afford how much body.
I love it.
Man.
I love it. Can we do a show from the next year's...
From the next one.
Yeah, from the Athletics Carnival? We'll record it live. I want to see it.
Load it up. Lower half Greeno is just going to be dominating.
And I want you to, like Kathy Freeman style, grab an Australian flag after the race and kind of do a lap of glory with it.
Yeah. I'm going to rock up with the condom suit on.
Condom suit?
The Kathy Freeman condom suit.
Yeah. It's fucking ridiculous.
Rock up to the Athletes Carnival.
Can I put a conspiracy theory out there?
Yeah.
This is something that I've thought ever since it happened. So the Sydney Olympics happened when we were 18. 18.
18, yes.
So I was 17, I think. Yeah, because it would have happened earlier in the year. So I was 17. And I actually, fun little side story, Greeno, quick story.
I like stories about pinatas.
I think I've told this story before, but I actually bought beers underage at the Olympics by pretending I couldn't speak English.
Nice.
Because I was like, my mentality, see, this is what a clever fucking kid I was. I thought everyone here is from another country, so why don't I just pretend to speak another language? So I went up to the beer stall and I pointed at the Foster's thing and I said, "Ein Bier bitte." And she said, "Oh, hi, honey, I need to see some identification?" And I just kind of smiled awkwardly and I pointed to the Fosters again and said, "Ein Bier bitte." And she's like, "Okay," and poured me a beer.
Nice, Harry. I've never heard that story. That is
you haven't heard that?
No, you've never told me that story.
Oh, man. Yeah, I got drunk at the Olympics. I went with my mum. We watched fucking 2 African teams play basketball or something random.
You told me you went to the Olympics with your mum.
Yeah.
You never told me that story. That's too funny.
So that's how I managed to buy beer at the Olympics underage. And that's a good lesson for the kids out there. Just pretend you can't speak the local language.
Yeah.
And it's too, you see, they're just serving, there's a big line. They're getting paid like minimum wage.
They're not going to sit there and argue with you because they can't understand. Yeah, they're like, oh, let's just move the line along.
They're not. So it's like, "Ein Bier bitte," in my best kind of Berliner accent. "Ein Bier bitte."
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, whatever. Who gives a fuck?
Oh, good.
Yeah. So I forget what story was I going to tell now? Was that the side story? Was that it?
No, that's it. That was it.
That was it? There was something else that we were going to bring up, wasn't it?
No. Well, that was it. That was the story time. We can fucking nip that
one.
Okay.
I like stories about pinatas.
Thank God.
So it's been like this year overall has been like health year for Greeno, and not by like positive health.
Every year is
as in-
healthier for you, though.
No. This is like
You're such a
negative
healthy
health year.
guy.
So I change it. This has been like fucking operation and surgery year.
It's been like you've been laid off with injury. It's the year that you've been a solid performer in the team for 4, 5, even a decade now. You're actually getting into veteran status in the team, but it's like the 33-year-old veteran who does a knee, and it's like, are we gonna sign him again? First it's a knee, then it's a quad, then it's a fucking rib, and it's it's never ending.
This year been a fucking nightmare.
Bad run.
Like last year was like renovation year in my house. This year has been medical year, where all my fucking spare money has gone on medical bills.
Yeah, no good.
So I had to go see a cardiologist last week. And they referred us off for scans and stuff. So like,
the cardiologist is like, you haven't been engaging in any little athletics dad's runs or anything lately.
Thankfully not. No, none of that. Well, I was a little bit disappointed because I rocked up. Because I went for a checkup 5 years ago, and they made you hop on a treadmill, and they put a little fucking electrodes and stuff on you, and you know that. And he's like, yeah, look, you look all good. Come back when you're 40. Like next checkup. Come back when you're 40. So I turned 40. I'm like, sweet, better fucking rock up, all good for a checkup. So I get there and I'm ready for a run. Like I'm rocked up. I literally have my Lycra on. I fucking have my Billy Hall backwards cap. I'm good to go. And
you go on a Sizzler afterwards.
I get in there, and firstly I have to wait an hour for once again an appointment that's already set. I'm like, well, realistically,
don't get started on doctor's appointments, man.
I know we've already talked about the show about 6 weeks ago, but I was like, no, it's all good. So I get in there, and I'm like, all right, cool, ready to go. And he's running through a few things. Chet puts a few electrodes on, and he's like, okay, this looks all fine. I have to refer you off for these couple of scans. I'm like, all right, no dramas. And what's the point of the scans? Like, it just gives you a full check of your heart to see like what tubes are working, which ones are clogged, which ones are fucked up, blah blah blah.
I feel like this is a fucking scam at this point. I really do.
It is and it isn't simultaneously. So anyway,
I feel like, don't you feel like though I know we've kind of touched on this before though. This is kind of why I want an older doctor, and there are very few, like the teachers. There are a few older doctors around now than there used to be when we were kids. And the older doctor will look at you and go, you're fine. I've seen this a million times. It's fine. And I'd rather take that. But the younger ones are more likely to be like, we better book you in for this scan, this scan, this scan, this scan.
No, this guy's not a young doctor though. This guy is kind of like, he's in that perfect age where I can tell he's a veteran. Yeah. But he's also not at that point where he stopped caring.
That's a good point. Actually,
he's that nice balance.
Go out, eat 10 steaks and drink a case of beer. What do I care? Whatever.
Yeah. So no, like this scan is something I just need to get done. So I'm like, okay. It's all good. So he refers. He's like, oh look, you can go any. Like he gives me two things. I'm gonna get a blood test. I'm gonna get a scan done. So I'm like, oh, he goes, you can go anywhere because this doctor is back in my old area. But I really liked him last time I saw him, so I'm like, I'll stick with that guy. So all the scans he referred me for, the stuff he gave me was in that area. So I'm like, okay.
God, I'm going to have to make a weekend out of it now.
No, it's no biggie because I was like, he said I can do it down here.
Okay.
So I call 10 different places down here. I'm like, my doctor's referred me for X, Y, and Z. And they're like, oh, what specifically? I'm like, well, here's what the
None of your
form
fucking
says.
business, actually.
No, well, they're like, here's what the form says. Here's what the referral says. And they're like, we need more info. I'm like, what more info do you need than what the referral says? Well, we need to know, blah, blah, blah. So in the end, I rang 6 different places. They all asked me the same question. I'm like, well, this doesn't help.
Fucking mind-numbing stuff.
So I end up just going to the place that he referred me to.
Yep.
And they were like, no dramas. We can get you in tomorrow. I'm like, oh, excellent. So I go into this thing. So it was like yesterday morning.
It's a 3-hour drive round trip.
It's not a 3-hour drive. It was like an hour and a half drive. It wasn't too bad. It was all good. So I took the morning off work, and I said to work, I'm like, look, got to go for a scan in the morning. I'll be on by midday. We're all good. Yep. So I failed to read the referral instructions.
Oh, no.
Well, I did, and I didn't. So I look on the back, and
I didn't. That means you didn't.
Well, no, I did.
Whenever you hear someone say, well, I didn't, that means they didn't. Okay?
I did.
No, they looked at it, but they did. No, see, you can't hear Jimmy Greeno. I know you listen to it, but you can't hear it.
No, you're right. I was listening to Jimmy. I didn't hear Jimmy. That's exactly what happened. So
you looked at it, but you didn't fucking read it, did you?
the doctor gave me a broad overview. He's like, hey, I'm going to send you for this scan. One, you've got to fast beforehand. You can't have any coffee beforehand or Red Bull and shit because your heart rate's got to get to a certain point.
Okay.
And a couple of other rules. So I'm like, sweet, I can follow all those.
Does this mean
So
I
rang
can't masturbate in a car on the way there? Or
That's why I didn't ask that question.
That's how else am I going to kill an hour and a half drive, man? To be honest.
Cerebral circuit when you get to the next point. So
What?
you'll get
Wasn't
to it.
expecting
So-
that.
So I get there, I ring up, I make the appointment. I'm like, yeah, okay, you can get me in. Excellent. They're like, oh, did you read the referral instructions? I'm like, yeah, I glanced over them. She's like, did you read them?
I
I'm
did.
like, I didn't. So I'm sitting there and I flip it over because I'm like, she's like, oh, it should be on the back. I'm like, okay, yeah, give me a sec. So I flip over because I got the referral in front of me as I'm making the call. And I'm like, okay, no food beforehand. Sweet, already knew that. No caffeine drinks beforehand. No smoking for 12 hours beforehand. No worries. No Viagra for 36 hours? What, is this right? Like I can't have Viagra for 36 hours? This receptionist is laughing her ass off on the phone. I'm like, it's all good. Like my dick hasn't been hard for years. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
I would have been like, well, I was actually planning to pop on the way there because you sound really hot, you know.
Yeah. So we got that sorted. So then here's the thing. So I read the instructions, like all booked in, and now I assumed that this was like, because it was a scan, I assume like you've done an x-ray before, right? You rock up, they do the x-ray, you're out.
Yeah.
Then the next point under the Viagra note is this procedure may take between 2 and 4 hours.
Whoa. What?
What
are we doing here?
I'm like, what's going on
What
here?
is it? Hang on. What is the procedure now? I want to know. Like,
It's a cardiac CT scan.
A cardiac CT. Why does it take 4 hours? What are you doing?
I shall explain.
Please.
So anyway, I'm like 2 to 4 hours. What the fuck? I told work I'll be back in like fucking. I'll be there. I'll be fucking jiffy. I'll be a couple of seconds. We'll be all sweet. Yeah. Soon as I'm like, all right, we'll fucking quickly message work. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be off. Like I'm off half the day now. All good, and I can't pop Viagra. It's fucking the morning's ruined. So I'm like, all good. Then the lady's like, oh, okay, so you're all booked in. Just so you know, did the doctor discuss the fee with you? I'm like, no. What?
Hang on. Whoa. Now, okay. Now we need to interrupt the story.
I like stories about pinatas.
Now, Greeno has been my best friend since the age of 5.
Yeah.
And I feel like I know him better than I feel like we both know each other better than we know ourselves, and that better than anyone else on earth knows each other, right? Mm-hmm. And I know exactly what makes Greeno tick. Now, okay, so can't take Viagra. That's a negative, but I'll deal with it. 2 to 4 hours for the procedure. That's a negative, but I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
Fee? Wait, there's a fee? That's a deal breaker.
Now I'm not an idiot. I understand there's going to be a fee for a scan. Now I've had scans before. I've had like shoulder ultrasounds when I did my shoulder. I've had X-rays, all those kind of things.
But it's it's the thing that would tip you over the scales. Is my point. It's like the straw that breaks the camel's back. Now I'll put up with all this other stuff, and now you're laying a fee on.
No, the fact that they raised the fee.
It must be bad.
Send off warning signals.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah, because why else would you bring it up? Like if it's just a rudimentary $35 fucking kind of
most
scan
people just
fee,
rock up this thing, $50, whatever, you're all good.
Yeah.
This thing, 4 figures.
What?
For a scan.
No.
So I'm like, wait, did I hear that right? And she's like, yeah. 4 figures for that one.
6 months ago, my kid had to go into an ambulance into the hospital, and it wasn't 4 figures.
Yeah.
Okay? You drove to the hospital yourself. It cost 4 figures to show
4
up.
Figures. 100%.
Fucking hell.
So I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I had to go in and break the news to the wife. I'm like,
looks like we're eating dog food this week because I had to get a chest scan.
That's it. We're fucking eating the dog at this point.
We can't afford the dog food, so let's eat the dog so we don't have to buy any more dog food.
100%. So I'm like, well, this is something I'm going to get done regardless. So I'm kind of in a corner here. So rock up to this particular thing, and once again, just assumed it was like a scan. Didn't think much of it. get in there. And they're like, oh, yeah, no worries, sir. We just need to put a catheter in. You know what? Like,
Wait, you're going dick level now.
No, is it catheter? No, it's not.
No, catheter is the thing that they stick in your dick, man, so you can piss and
it's
stuff.
not catheter then. What's the other one? What's the one they put into your veins?
A drip?
Yeah, whatever they put in the drip into.
Okay.
I gotta look that up.
Do that now, because I'm concerned that I've got it wrong. So I think a catheter is the thing that they stick in your dick. So, but I could be mistaken. I don't know.
Catheter is what I'm thinking of.
What?
Catheter.
Catheter.
Or a cannula.
No, see, I think a catheter is the dick thing.
An IV drip involves a small tube called a catheter and a saline-based electrolyte solution.
Oh, okay. So what's the thing they stick in your dick then, so you can piss? It opens up your piss hole. You know, it's pretty painful. Yeah, I thought that was actually, maybe the thing is just a catheter and it's used for different.
The catheter. Yeah, it could be used for different things. Anyway, they work this bad boy in. They're like, okay, well, we're gonna. Firstly, we need to slow your heart down.
Whoa,
what do you mean?
Whoa!
And they're like,
what is happening here? Fuck.
I'm like, I thought it was just like a fucking regular scan. Like, no, we're going to slow your heart down, and this is why you're going to be here for 2 or 4 hours.
Have you got a bag of weed? Because that'll do it.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, if you told me, we could have fucking sorted some shit out beforehand.
Yeah. Get me some sour diesel in here and get me some sour diesel and some bucket bongs, and we'll make it happen. All right,
we'll be all right.
Yeah. And some Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, we'll be sweet. So turns out, like, my heart rate, I'm like, so what's my heart rate at? And they told me it was at 80. And I'm like, okay, is that good? And they're like, yeah, that's normal. I'm like, so what are we trying to get it at? They're like 60. I'm like, that seems low. And they're like, yeah, it is low.
That seems like coma level, doesn't it?
And I'm like, so that's like sleep level. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. We kind of want your heart so slow that you're pretty much asleep. So I'm like, hang on, I'm going to fucking drive back an hour and a half, and you're going to put some shit in my body that is going to make me basically put me in sleep state. This is a bit awkward.
You'll be cruising home like the Big Lebowski, Greeno.
So they start me off with a little bit of half juice, and they're like, oh, that's good. That got down to 60. I'm like, excellent. We only need the half juice. And then my heart rate, because I started to get worried, because I'm like, oh.
See, if I had known all this beforehand, just say it was me, if I had known all this beforehand, I would have said to the lady books, hey, you got to drive me to this thing. And when I'm in there with them, I would have been like, nah, you got to load me up, mate. You got to give me everything you got, because I've been taking drugs since I was like in my pre-puberty.
Your heart rate's already going to be slow, though. That'd be all right.
No, my heart rate's pretty high, though, because it's a tense situation. So you better give me like morphine and shit if you want to slow it. Give me the good stuff. Yeah, because look, I got a ride here. So I'm free, you know, so I can get high today. It's fine. Yeah. So give me the good stuff, man. Yeah. Whenever you go to the hospital, you really got to ask for the good stuff too. You got to make sure that you cash in, man, because it's not every day that you get the opportunity to get the pharmaceutical grade kind of, downers, and they're the best ones. Let's be honest. So any opportunity to be like, yeah, you're going to slow my heart rate down. All right, load me up. Give it. Can I actually get a script? Can I take some home? Can I get some takeaways for this, please?
Cannula is the word I was looking for. Sorry, cannula. So catheter might be the right phrase you were talking about with the dick thing.
They say the catheter in a dick and a cannula in the arm.
Cannula in my arm. Nice, so yeah, I had a cannula in my arm.
The only reason I was so sure of that is because I've had a catheter in a dick, and I'm pretty sure that word is tattooed on my brain as like avoid at all costs.
I know, and that explains the fucking look I got from my wife when I came home. She's like, "Oh, how are you?" I'm like, "You put a fucking catheter in me." She's like, "What?"
They touched your dick? Why are they doing that?
No. Cannula. That's what it is. Cannula. So they end up getting my heart rate down to a stupid level. But then they're like, oh, also, we've got to put like this dye in you. The
radioactive dye shit.
The radioactive dye. But here's the thing. They're like,
radioactive.
They're like, here's side effects you may feel. Yeah. One, you may like feel like a metallic sensation in your mouth.
Okay.
And two, it may feel like you've just pissed yourself. I'm like, what the
fuck is going on?
But they'd also made me drink 4 liters of water before I rocked up. And
so is the 4 liters of water making me feel like I might piss myself?
But that's what I'm like, have I actually pissed myself? Like, is this going to make me piss myself or not? And they're like, no. You just feel like you're going to piss yourself. And I'm like, but I've had 4 liters of water because you told me to drink 4 liters of water beforehand, and I really need to go to the toilet. Yeah, but you need to keep that. So I'm going to think. So you're in the tube, and it feels like you're in a dryer in this CT scan because you're in this tube and all you see is this machine going around going whoosh, 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 whoosh,
Yeah,
whoosh,
yeah.
whoosh. So you're kind of freaking out.
Yeah.
And they're like, hold your breath, don't hold your breath. I feel like I'm in like a bondage scene. And I'm like, hold your breath. Like just
Without any payoff though. Like there's
there's no
you're
payoff,
not coming at the end of it. You know?
until such point as they fucking put this thing in, it feels like I pissed myself. So I'm sitting there, and once again,
You're begging for the catheter at that point because it's like at least it's foreplay until it goes in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm getting to the point where I'm like, oh, it's weird. I haven't felt like I've pissed myself yet. This is kind of strange. I didn't realize they don't tell you when they're going to give it to you in the machine. So you're in the machine for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, out of nowhere, my mouth tastes like I fucking just smashed some spoons in there.
Does it taste like you licked a battery? You remember that when you get like the D battery? Is it the D battery that's the square one?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I can't remember ever doing that, but it was.
You never did that? You never stuck your tongue on the positive and negative at the same time and get that little buzz?
No, never.
Really?
Yeah, no, yeah.
You have
Never
to do
did
it once. You have to.
Well, I just had metal in my mouth and I had a catheter, so it's all good.
Well, fair enough. Yeah.
But then next thing you know, suddenly I feel like I'm pissed myself, and I'm like, "You want me to hold my breath now? What's going on there?" The strangest sensation ever. Then they hit you with the bill.
Yeah.
But then
no, that's the strangest sensation ever. It's like, what am I paying for here?
So then after
You didn't even give me good drugs for this money. I could have taken $1,000 to my guy, and I could have been high for a month on this shit. You know,
you're still getting a scan. That's the thing.
Fucking hell, this is ridiculous.
So then they send you off. You get a cookie, you get some juice. You got to sit around for a couple of hours till your heart rate goes almost back to normal. And then in the end, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's close enough. You're all right." And I'm like,
"You're right.
Okay, yeah, all good." Like,
is that your professional opinion? Is it or?
Yeah, no,
close enough. You're right.
I'm like, oh, am I right to drive? And they're like, oh, yeah. Look, I'd probably recommend going and getting a feed and a coffee beforehand. Well, I guess I'll go get a feed and a coffee.
As if a hamburger is going to make a difference, you know.
Smash down a grande melt. Actually,
what the fuck is a grande melt?
Oh, grande melt, man, it's the best. So it's kind of like a burrito.
I'm sorry, I already don't like it because it's not called a grand melt. It's called a grande melt. It's an Italian coffee. You know, fuck off. I already find it pretentious.
It's like a grilled burrito.
I get like a flat fucker though, right? Like pressed.
Not really flat, but yeah, it's quite like it's a combination between a kebab and a burrito.
So it's kind of like what's that shit they serve at the Turkish kebab shops? Pide? No.
So it's literally like a regular. Yeah, it's a kebab, but like burrito filling.
Okay.
Now they grill the kebab.
Yeah, isn't it? Actually, you bring up a good point. Isn't a burrito really just a Mexican kebab?
Yeah, but without the outside being
just
crunchy.
Smaller. It's just
smaller.
It's
not toasted because that's just always in the tortilla.
You don't have to have your kebab toasted though.
You don't have to, but
no, I actually prefer like a very light toasting on the kebab. I just want it toasted enough to melt the cheese.
Yeah.
But I don't want any cracking in that lead bread. Like I want it soft and doughy. I love doughy.
Yeah.
I want to taste the bread, you know.
Yeah,
so
fair enough.
A burrito is just like a small Mexican version of a kebab.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's different flavors though. It's more tomatoey and spicy and salsa-y and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
whereas your kebab is more
big
like
circling roll of meat.
Yeah, your kebab's more earthy, isn't it? It's like this is we're giving you goat meat here. This is shit from the old country, right?
Yeah, this thing's been sitting outside for the last week.
We're giving you fucking Middle Eastern spices in this fucking thing. You know, it's next level. Actually, interesting. If Steph still listens to the show, which I'm not sure he does, do you prefer a Turkish kebab or B, a Mexican burrito? It's a tough question. It's a tough question.
Yeah, definitely a poll.
What are your thoughts, Greeno? Do you prefer a kebab or a burrito?
It depends.
That's what I was going to say. It depends on the time and the mood and the setting.
Yeah, and where you're buying it from. Like, I've had some really delicious kebabs, and no matter what time of day, they're delicious. I've had some really good burritos. I've had some really shit burritos. Like, it just depends.
Jim Edward in the chat, Greeno says it's called fusion boogs, you uncultured swine. Nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
The general point of the story is between the money I had to fork out to go to a cardiologist, to the scan, to the other blood test I've still got to do, but I haven't been asked to book yet.
God, it's going to get worse.
It's cheaper for me to be dead, bro. Like, really is. Like, all the stuff is to prevent me from dying. It's cheaper for me to be dead.
So the ultimate cheapness of Greeno will eventually show, and he's just going to jump off a building or something. I can't afford these medical bills.
Like, I'm doing all these precautionary scans so I don't die, but
I'm not even sick.
I fork out thousands of dollars to prove I'm not sick.
Yeah, that's hard.
And then eventually it'll show something. I have to pay more money to fix that. Like, it's cheaper to be dead.
God, yeah, I don't envy it. The last physical I took, I think I was about. Maybe I was. No, actually, the last one I took was. I reckon I was about 27 or 28. So it was quite some time ago now, and I actually had to fudge it. Because I was smoking a lot of weed at the time and I was only a casual, and then they said, we want to put you full time, but in order to do that, you have to do a physical. And I was like, well, I don't really want to do a physical. I don't really want to go full time. I didn't tell them because I was smoking a lot of weed at the time. I was like, no, I make more money as a casual, so I'd rather stay a casual. And they said, well, when we're actually getting rid of all our casuals, so we're going to put you on a full-time contract or you have to find somewhere else to work. And I was like, fine. And I'm like, all right, so when is the fucking physical? And they're like, it's this Friday. And I was like, fuck, And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to pass this physical. So I had like a week up my sleeve. So what I did was I stopped all the weed and I drank nothing but water. But the drug testers, they're onto this because if your piss is too clear and it looks too much like water, they're suspicious of it. So what I did was just before I went in to do the piss test, I drank yellow Gatorade to make my piss look like it was yellow. And I actually passed the drug test because they looked at it and said it looks like piss. And they were like, yeah, fine. They didn't actually bother, because because it's like a testing place and they're only really looking for like red flags. So I knew that going in. So I'm like, well, if I can just make it look like piss, then I'll probably get away with it. If I don't get away with it, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll get another job. Who gives a fuck? But so I was like, all right, well, so I drank nothing but water for a week to kind of cleanse my system as much as I possibly could. And then like just before I went in, because by the time I trained my body, I was pissing like every hour at that point, I was just constantly flushing. And so by that point, I knew if I sculled like 2 liters of yellow Gatorade 20 minutes before I went in, what's coming out is going to be fucking yellow Gatorade. So it came out yellow and she looked at it and she shook it around a little bit and she's like, nah, it's all good. And I'm like, yeah, fucking fool. Geez, thanks, babe. Nice, Gary. Nice, Gary.
Very good.
Yeah.
I forget where we're at.
Let's
do muted word of the week. Let's do this Optus stuff because I had to mute the word Optus this week because they couldn't communicate with us. So I'm like, I feel wrong that they're able to communicate with me.
So Optus is the second biggest telecommunications company in this country. It's basically a duopoly. So you've got 2, Telstra and Optus, and then they on-sell every other product to all the other providers that you have. So I guess the American equivalent would be like, I think it's like TPG and I think it's like TPG and another one that they have in the States, Greeno. So it's a similar situation here. So you're either with one or the other. Even if you go with one of the other companies, they're just buying stuff.
They're buying off that, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So what happened was on Wednesday, the second biggest or one of the biggest telecommunications companies, their whole service shut down nationally for I think it was 4 a.m. it went out. And I think it came on back on at like 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So basically half of the country was blackout.
Had no internet, no phone
coverage. Phone, yeah. That's the other thing too. It wasn't just the internet, it was also the phone service as well.
Yeah.
So you couldn't even text work and say, I can't show up because the internet's out. Because if your phone plan was also with the same provider as your internet provider, you were fucked. You were up shit creek. Couldn't do anything. Actually, the lady Boogs, when this was going on, she brought up a very interesting point, which I pondered for a good time, Greeno. If you're an executive at Optus and the Optus service goes out nationwide, how can you contact your people to tell them that they need to fix stuff? Yeah. Now, they must have a backup Telstra account.
Surely. Something had to be working for them to know.
They must have another phone account. They must have a Vodafone account or something with somebody. Because
no. They went down to the local server, got themselves a
got a
Vodafone
prepaid card.
Yeah. They can text each other. Hey, Jim, this isn't looking good.
Imagine the CEO of Optus going down to the local fucking 7-Eleven and being like, yeah, you got one of those $20 cards? You know, I really just need to call like 3 other executives and get them to do shit.
To then call 5,000 people and hope they've got a card. Right. But then they try to call the staff who are all on Optus. Yeah. And, sorry, mate, unavailable.
The service is down. So actually, how do they communicate? If you work at a telecommunications company, and because clearly they would be on an Optus account, like the Optus building would be running on Optus internet.
Yep.
You know, it's not running on Telstra. It's not running on a competitor's service, but what's your contingency plan?
That's an interesting fucking question.
It really is. Like I was
asked that yet.
And I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I guess that they would have to have like, and my only summation was, I wonder if Optus headquarters has like a Telstra account and Telstra headquarters has an Optus account, just in case.
In case one of them
fucks up and you have to go through the other one and you have to log into Telstra. Like I imagine that they'd have to, wouldn't they? How else could they possibly communicate with all their people? Because everyone that they need to speak to, everyone who's like a decision maker at Optus would be on a free Optus account.
You'd think so.
Of course. Like you couldn't be like a high level executive at Optus and be using Telstra because you'd be getting free Optus. Like it would be part of your contract.
You're not paying for it. Yeah, exactly.
So how did they actually communicate this outage? It's fascinating to me. I'd love to know how they actually. Yeah.
That's a very good question.
Yeah. And the other thing that I thought of was, you know, because we were discussing and, you know, we were on our way to find Wi-Fi at some local cafe or something. And I said to Lady Boogs, you know, the topic was brought up. Like, so I said, like, so, because she was listening to the radio. She was listening to Kyle and Jackie O. She got updates on the news. I wasn't listening to the radio. And I said, look, so have they mentioned, like, what the cause is? And she's like, not yet. And I said, you know what? The thing with this is, because she said, they've already come out and said it's definitely not a cyber attack. Nice, Gary.
No, definitely a cyber attack.
Definitely not hackers. Yeah. Okay. And I said, yeah, that's the beautiful part about that is, so that's PR 101, right? You come out as soon as the outage happens and you say, look, guys, it's not a security issue. It's definitely not a security, because it's better to lie now, because you can't come out now and say we don't know. So if you say we don't know, then people will make up their own story. So you're better off saying it's definitely not this, even if you don't know, right? Because at least, because you need to, because people are idiots and you need to wrap them in a safety blanket of like a false sense of security. Yeah. So otherwise they'll go crazy. So you come out and say, look, guys, it's definitely not a cyber attack. And then 3 weeks from now, a month from now, they'll say, we're launching an internal investigation as to the root cause of that outage a month ago. And by that time, 50% of the population has already forgotten about it and they're not interested. Yeah. And then 6 or 7 months from now, when the quote unquote internal investigation wraps up, they'll come out and say, well, it was a cyber attack. But by that point, only 5% of the population gives a fuck. And when they bring it up in the news and they'll say, remember when Optus was down for that day? This will be halfway through 2024. This will be on the news tonight at 6 o'clock. Remember when Optus was down that day? Turns out it was a cyber attack after all. And most 95% of people will roll their eyes and go, I don't even remember. Well, do you remember that? Oh, yeah, I kind of do.
Well, they'll remember it, but they're all like, oh, yeah, all
whatever.
Good. And then we'll move on because their service would have been fine for the last 6 months.
Exactly. So, I think it would actually be better for Optus to come out and say it was a cyber attack, because otherwise the only other inference that you can draw is that they're incompetent. Yeah. That they fucked up somewhere. Yeah. They made a mistake. And wouldn't you rather be a victim?
Someone literally flicked a switch that meant half the country didn't have
someone leaned on a switch in the office somewhere and switched it all off and said, I don't know what's going on. you're better off saying you were attacked, because then you can say,
100%,
I'm a
it's
victim.
someone else's fault.
Yeah. You can come out with a promo
department.
video and say, look, we're all in this together. We care just as much as you do. Security is all of our responsibility.
Yeah.
You can come out with those fluffy videos and then you'll be sweet. So,
Well, what I found interesting about the whole thing, aside from everything you've just raised, was a couple of little snippets, the byproduct of the outage that just made me chuckle a little bit. This one actually came from Optus Help. We are aware of some mobile phones are having issues connecting to 000, which is our 911 for American listeners. Our emergency, like, I'm dying. Where can I call? You dial 000.
There is a bomb just went off. You call 000. You're having a heart attack. You call 000. Someone's holding a gun to your head. You call. Well, you wouldn't call 000 on that point. It'd probably be too late. But someone's trying to break into your house. You call 000. Like it's 911.
Yeah. So obviously that was an issue because with the Optus customers, normally even with an outage with telecommunication companies, 000 still works. No
That's
matter
true.
what.
Yep.
There's a weird kind of workaround, which is where I'm assuming the executives were able to contact people with the workaround.
So they had to go through the government and go, this is an emergency. I work for Optus.
Yeah.
I need to get in touch with Jim at the local fucking plant. He needs to put the switch. Tell him he lent on the switch again.
Because it's not a cyber attack. But here's what they said. There's their suggestion. If Optus customers need to call emergency services, we suggest finding a family member or neighbor with an alternative device.
So you're literally promoting the fucking competition now.
So Optus's advice to, hey,
try
you're
someone
having a heart
else.
attack, go find someone who's got a better phone service to call the hospital for you.
What a win this is for Optus.
That's a win.
By the way, this was tweeted out by the account called Optus Help. Okay.
Yeah, that's helping.
This is the help.
That's like the gold verified account as well. Like this is the one we have to take seriously because it's gold and verified. If you want to call 000, our phones are so fucked up. We recommend in a time of you dying, go find someone with better phone service.
I did actually find this tweet amazing when you sent it through because I was like, wait, 000 wasn't even working? Because I remember reading something and someone was like, someone tried to call 000 and the service was down. And I said to the lady Boogs, oh, that's bullshit. 000 always works. Like you don't need service for 000. So it was
that's how
that
bad
bad.
The breakdown was. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess 7 months from now we'll find out that it actually was a cyber attack after all.
100% it was.
Yeah, of course. It was.
So that was one bad take. That's a bad situation. Now, I don't like to bring politics into this show, but sometimes politicians try to stick their nose into things and it makes no sense. So I like to bring it into our show. Well, now, this is Basil Zempoulos.
Do you say? I was going to ask you this. Do you say Zempoulos or Zempalis?
Whatever it was. Well, Zempoulos. It's PIL.
Basil Zempalis.
Why would I call it Zempalis? There's no A there.
I think. Yeah, I know, but I think that's the way. Basil Zempalis. It's like the intonation of how you say it. It's not Zempalis like I say it, but I'm a lazy speaker. It's Zempalis. Zempalis.
It's Basil.
Yeah.
It's Basil. So Lord Mayor Basil Z, whatever his name is,
who's a former football commentator. And former player as well, wasn't he? I think he played a little bit. Yeah.
Now he's a politician over there in WA. But he's like,
Lord Mayor of Perth, Greeno.
Yeah, I'm going to strike while the iron's hot here. I'm going to have a bit of crack. I'm going to do some little political fucking maneuvering here. Yeah. Lord Mayor Basil, whatever his name is, slams Optus's naming right for Perth Stadium amid stadium national outage. So, because the internet was down, he's taken corporate sponsorship of a stadium. He's like, I'm going to fucking have a crack at this.
He's a dead shit. He's a dead shit.
What the fuck, bro?
We don't use this term enough. I know, right? People are fucked. Look, this is no different. Like Lord Mayors of cities in this, in this country especially, like what you have to understand is about Australia is we are like one of the most over-governed countries on earth. There are more public servants per head of per capita here than just about any other country on earth. Because we have hyper-inflated local government and state government and federal government, and they all kind of like it's a big kind of human caterpillar situation. It's a scissoring situation, you know, like a triple scissoring, triangle scissoring situation.
A lot of scissoring happening, yeah.
You know, so the Lord Mayor of a particular city is pretty fucking innocuous. Like, he really,
It's more of an honorary title.
it really is. Like, he really can't do anything or make any real
He can
changes.
complain about a corporate sponsorship of a stadium in his state.
He can make noise. He can be like a dog in a backyard barking. But this is
Very
all
annoying.
Lord Mayors. Like, we've put up with the Sydney
Clover.
Lord Mayor Clover. What's her last name?
Clover Moore.
Now she made a career out of this, right? What
She's
you
been
do
forever,
is
yeah.
any issue in Sydney, you deflect it to the state government, and she's kind of got a point in that the state government is basically in control of what happens in Sydney because everything that happens, because guess what? Sydney is in the state, right? So what affects state politics affects Sydney politics, but the state will kick it up to the federal level and say, oh, it's not our fault. The federals are to blame for this. And so it goes to Australian fucking parliament, and like in Canberra. And they're like, oh, well, we can't change this because that's controlled by the state. And the local government says, well, we can't change this. It's controlled by the state. The state government says, well, the federal government needs to step in. Federal government says this needs to be handled at local level. It's a complete fucking circus politics in this country.
We need
Corporate life.
We need a royal commission.
Yeah.
We need a royal commission in this one. And
Hey.
they create the royal commission 6 years later.
I mean-
and it goes back to the opposite point of like they do the royal commission and 6 years later, like, oh, what was that thing we were complaining about 8 years ago?
Yeah,
Ah,
no one remembers. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
We were talking right at the start of the show. We should have done a podcast about what we were talking about pre-show about, like, call it, you know, corporate world or whatever. I've made the point on this show before that the people who end up in politics are just less talented corporate hacks. Like the talented corporate hacks make it in the corporate world, right? And where they earn 3 times as much money and they run companies and stuff. If you're not that talented, you end up in politics.
Yeah.
Because there's almost zero accountability. You can do whatever the fuck you want, and you actually get to tell business what to do. You make the rules for them. So you kind of end up in the political world instead. And you know, a Lord Mayor for a city, like look at the London Lord Mayor. His job is to, you know, have a Twitter account. He doesn't even run his Twitter. He doesn't even run his Twitter account. Some fucking intern does.
Yeah, 100% they do.
And, you know, they come out and they take pictures of him at some diversity festival or something. And he's like, you know, here in the city of London, we're promoting diversity because we believe all voices lead to a brighter future for a stronger London. Like, it is so easy to write this stuff. I can do it while I'm drunk here at 11:45 on a Friday night. You know, right? It's so easy to write that kind of shit. But that's their job. And this is Basil, you know, got this idea. He's the Perth Lord Mayor. He's a completely honorary title. He really has no relevance whatsoever in any kind of political decision making whatsoever.
So Basil's suggestion to improve the Perth community is to go, hey, we're going to take away we want you to take away the millions of dollars that fund the stadium each year from the corporate branding and make it still successful.
Yeah. Because the other thing too to recognize here is Perth people are strange. Like they're a different breed. Perth is geographically, statistically, the most isolated state capital city on planet Earth. And you can Google that because Perth
Makes sense.
Perth is on the west coast of Australia, and they have ocean on one. They have the Indian Ocean on one side, where you have to sail for days to get to fucking the subcontinent, right? And they have desert on the other side, and that's it. So they are very isolated and they're very strange. I think I've mentioned this story before. In Perth, they have Western Australia Bank, right? Perth Bank, WA Bank.
Yeah.
Now, the WA Bank will run ads on Perth TV. And so when we think of the big 4 banks here, we think of NAB, Commonwealth, Westpac, and ANZ, right?
Yeah.
Those are that's what in this country they refer to as the big 4. Those are the big 4 banking institutions in Australia. Now, in WA, they don't really use them. They have their own bank. They have WA Bank or Perth Bank or whatever the fuck it's called. And this company over there will run ads on TV in Perth, and it will show like the logos of these other banks. And it's like, don't trust those East Coast banks. They don't have your best interests at heart. Use your WA bank. It's full on. They have like a big victim mentality over. They think that the East Coast that me and Greeno live on are consumed with stomping down the West Coast. But the West Coast is so irrelevant to us, we don't even know that they're there half the time. Until stories like this come up, and it's like, oh, look at Basil, fucking Lord Mayor of Perth, doing dumb shit on Twitter. That's all we care about. We don't care about Perth. You're over there. You're doing your own thing. They're practically a different country to us. You know what I mean? We're in the Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, Canberra kind of bubble, and Perth is its own fucking entity. It's a mutant on the other side of the country. They're doing their own thing, man. They got desert and ocean separating them from everybody else. So I've been to Perth a few times. Haven't been for a long time, but I went over a few times when I was younger. It's a very strange place. People are strange there. They're just different, and you can tell it's the isolation thing. It's like a big country town.
Almost their own country, yeah.
Yeah. So they're just different kind of folks. They're very folksy over there. They're more
fine.
redneck than Queensland in many respects.
Doesn't give any excuse for Basil's dumb comments, though.
No, but it doesn't give an excuse for it, but it kind of explains it because he's like, he's tweeted this out, right? The Basil Zempalis Twitter account has tweeted out, Lord Mayor Basil Zempalis slams Optus naming right for Perth Stadium mid national outage. Wouldn't he say, I'm slamming?
Nice.
He's speaking in the third person, Greeno.
Speaking in third person. That's what happens over there.
They're different. That's what I'm saying.
Basil.
They're different.
Look, I'm gonna give Basil like one kind of nice Gary because at least he's already getting into the culture of cancelling everything.
Yeah,
he's going to cancel the naming rights because of a national outage.
That's what we like.
This one was taken to the next level this week, where Kmart's handbags have been pulled from stores after the Australian Jewish Association wrote to West Farmers, who owns Kmart, asking for it to be removed. Now, these things were built and printed.
It's a
decade ago, right? So they created a handbag saying Merry Hammas, hence Christmas, but with ham.
I'm gonna retweet this. Oh my god, it's Hamas.
No, it's Hammas. So this has caused outrage. Now, what I've seen over the coming days is these are still available in store. However, you're no longer allowed to purchase them.
What? How can it be available if you can't buy it?
So you take them to the counter and you go to the register because everything's self-service now because no one refuses to serve you. So you try and scan it, and won't allow you to scan it.
This is wild. This is next level crazy.
This is such an innocent thing. This wasn't created after what's happened in the last 4 weeks. This was literally something generated and like printed.
It looks like a mum made it, like
100%. It's like, hey, what are we gonna do? Oh, like it's Christmas. We love ham. We're gonna do hammas. We'll do hammas. Excellent. That's not gonna be offensive in 6 months' time. Print it. Print a fucking 100,000 of the fuckers. They're gonna love it. People are gonna buy ham.
What are people saying about this?
I don't know. I didn't scroll down, to be fair.
Now I agree with Alex Rivchen, whoever he is. This is what I'm thinking too. I don't know if you've just posted some parody stuff or this actually happened.
No, this is a legitimate thing. It's actually on the Kmart website.
People are like, is this actually true? Like, this is the Australian kind of mentality. It's like, no, surely not. Like, it can't be this bad. We need a moratorium on fucking insanity right today. Because look, I accept that there are people in the world who want to ban things, but I'm sorry, Australian Jewish Association, you need to fucking pull your head in. You need to check yourself before you fucking wreck yourself, okay? If you're trying to endear yourself to the public and, win the hearts and minds of people, this is not how you go about it. I'm not sure if you're aware of that or not. Like, I'm not sure if you realize that, see, if this is true, them making the complaint makes the connection because for everybody else in this country, they look at that and go, "Oh, hammas," because what do we eat here in Australia, Greeno? We eat Christmas ham.
It's a ham bag.
It's a ham bag for your ham, your Christmas ham
that you eat at Christmas.
Yeah. So Merry Hammas. It's like,
this wasn't created to be offensive. This wasn't created to be political. Literally, like you said, some mum created this, I reckon.
Yeah.
There's a Cheryl sitting there in the Kmart creative department right now who just lost her job because she didn't understand the political landscape 6 months in the future.
This is wild.
So, Merry Hammas. I'm going to go fucking buy a dozen of them tomorrow.
Yeah. Fucking hand them out. Let's make them prizes, Greeno.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh,
it's like when I bought the Cleveland Indians jersey with the Chief Wahoo.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy one before they ban it. I'm like, better get in. So I'm going to give myself a Merry Hammas.
See, this is like...
We're cancelling everything, sir.
Oh, look, I know. I've been on the cancel everything journey, even a lot longer than you have, Greeno. I've been kind of fucking flogging this horse for a long time. This is, I'll put it out there. This is quite possibly the most ridiculous one I've ever seen. This is worse than coon cheese. This is worse than like guys being allowed to go into the girls' changing room. This is worse than all of them. This is like quite possibly the most ridiculous one that I've ever seen.
I don't know. Let's go to the next segment, shall we, sir?
Oh God, whatever. Oh,
Cousins of birds.
No.
Nice, Gary!
Monica's clouded by racism and misogyny are to be renamed.
Renaming the birds now.
We're renaming the birds, Damo.
Oh my God.
They got links to misogyny and racism. What do we got here? Here you go. So this is a statement from Colleen Handel, the AOS president.
The who? What president? What president? Who are these organizations?
These are the people that name the birds, apparently.
No, I want to hear from the Bird Watching Society or something.
Yeah. There is power in a name, and some English bird names have associations with the past that continue to be exclusionary and harmful today.
See, look.
Fuck off now. Have they named the birds?
Yeah, who are you to name birds? If you're such a moral arbiter, why can't you let the birds name themselves?
No, mate. I don't know. You might need to beep this out in post. But here's the name. One of the birds that need to be changed.
Yep.
The thick-billed longspur.
The what?
Yep. Thick-billed longspur. Now that was once named after a Confederate soldier named for his racist legacy. Better fucking change the name.
Oh, fucking Crimea River. Jesus.
What's this? Audubon's Shearwater is named after John James Audubon, a famous birder with a legacy of white supremacy. So we've got to rename that bird.
Oh, it's actually worse because I was expecting you to say this one's called the black cunt duck.
Yeah,
this one's called the nigger bird. I was expecting something.
I never clicked on the names. This is
a kike fowl, I was expecting some kind of really offensive racial slur.
All the people offended by the thick-billed longspur and the Auburn shearwater.
See, I always thought that I always thought that like the naming of species was generally attributed like you can name it whatever you want as long as you're the first one to record it.
You're the one that recorded it.
So that's basically how the system works, right? So and look, we all accept that maybe this bird was called something by like the local indigenous people or whatever in whatever place you're from. But I'm sorry, you didn't write it, but you didn't document it. So the first time, and we also happen to live in the what's called the Anglosphere, which is the remnants of the once dominant kind of English empire, right? So of course, what we refer to is going to be named. We're drawing on that history, that line of history, right? So to retrospectively go back and say, okay, this was named after this particular person who had particularly pretentious, like awful views. I hope if you're someone out there who's listening to this and you agree with like renaming birds because they're named after people in history, I hope that you find offensive. I hope that you understand that, 100 years from now, 200 years from now, 300 years from now, there's just as much an equal chance that someone's going to rename your rename because you're a fucking pussy.
Yeah.
Right? There's just as much chance. Like the changes, you have to understand that the changes you think that you're making now are going to last forever. That's what everybody who has changed things in society has believed when they've changed things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very few of them stick. So we have like, we adopted a lot of shit from like the Roman Empire. That was 2,000 years ago, Greeno. Like the months, you know, the names of the months and the calendar and stuff. That's all Roman stuff. Okay. Now,
it is some pretty fucked up shit.
Unless you're going to come up with a new month in the calendar, I don't think your renaming of the birds is going to fucking fly. Pardon the pun.
Unintended, yeah.
You know, years from now. People will just one day, I think I don't know if you feel this or not. I feel we're getting so much closer to that point where even ordinary people who like really don't want to offend anyone or don't really pay attention to this stuff are really, they're going to look at stuff like this and go, serious?
It's no things. I've noticed things are starting to turn a little bit.
They are
back in that where it's reached. It's almost the seesaw of ridiculousness has now tipped.
Yeah,
we're like, hang on, like, yeah, we've gone too far.
It's like we have to let people continue to be. And I've been saying this for years. Don't fight people who have these ridiculous ideas. Let them grow. Let them blossom.
Yeah, go nuts. Yeah. Cancel everything. That's
because
what we're saying.
This is the best argument against. Like, you know, you can get angry on and argue with people on social media and say you're an idiot and you know you shouldn't be renaming stuff and this is bullshit. Or you can encourage them, because encouraging them actually accelerates it, and then they just get more empowered and they'll feel like that they can ban more things and change more things. And that actually that does a better job of convincing the average person than you ever would, you know.
And this is ridiculous.
Yeah, like
naming birds are named after people that used to have certain character traits. Like it's
pretty
nuts.
Wild stuff, man.
It's nuts.
Like, yeah, and it's like I said, it's not even the nigger bird. It's not even offensive.
But it's yeah. Anyway.
I love it.
I just realized, man, I forgot to throw to you
I got a couple of things. I got a couple of things here for you. So
yeah, let's go. We'll do your two, and then let's call it a night, I think.
All right. Well, let me pour a bevy. You're cutting me short before we've even started here.
Well, hang on. Well, can you put some holding music on? Let me go to the bathroom.
Okay. Let me find some. All right. This will do. While Greeno's gone, that has to be some of the most iconic TV show music that's ever been written, doesn't it? This bit especially, right at the end here, that linger. Bum, 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 bum. Whoever the guitar guy is in this piece is just, he must be super chill. Bum, 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 bum. He only just chimes in every now and then again. I bet he's a big B.B. King fan. It's kind of the way B.B. King played guitar. B.B. King used to say he hates chords. He never played chords. The reason that B.B. King got so good at playing guitar was because he hated playing chords, so he just soloed all the time. I feel like this guy is channeling him because he hasn't played one chord yet. He might also be an Eddie Van Halen fan, listening to the guitar effect. It's all about the bass, this song, though. The bom bom, 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 bom. It's all about the bass. It's all about the bass, that bass, no treble. See, without that bomb bit, this piece really has nothing to offer. Building up to the crescendo now. Bum 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 bum.
Sorry, I'm back. My apologies.
That's all right. We're just doing a musical analysis of the court dates music. What show was it from again? Hang on. Here's the payoff, Greeno. The pause. The big pause. I was just saying how the guitarist must have been a BB King fan because he only plays solos, and that song is just actually all about the bass line. That bomb, bomb. Without that, it's nothing. So, all right. I wanted to bring you this to you because we've been motorsport fans, specifically Formula One fans, all of our life. But yes, all forms of motorsport. I love my rally. I love my V8 supercars. I love my Formula One. We've watched a lot of motorsport. Greeno's like MotoGP, Formula One. You know, specifically Formula One though has been the one that you and I have both gravitated towards.
Yeah, between two of us, normally Formula One.
Normally Formula One, and it's the history. It's so much. It's the personalities. They refer to it, Greeno, the show. It's the show, right? Formula One is the show. It goes all around the world, and it's the most money and Formula One is like the rock star of motorsport. You know, it's the supermodels, it's the cocaine, it's the girl that we interviewed on my phone, which was lost in Melbourne at the time. Yeah, which I'll never. Her face is tattooed on my brain. She was Polish, I think, if I'm not mistaken. She worked for the Williams F1 team. Yeah, and she was a caterer, for the Formula One team, and because we stayed in the hotel across the road from the track, so we had Williams and I think a couple of other teams that were staying there as well, and we were out in the smoking area, and she was out there, and we were talking to her, and like, oh wow, so you work with the Formula One? Yes, I'm a caterer, and so it's like, oh, okay, that must be fun traveling the world and, going on the Formula One tour. And she looked at us legitimately serious and said, I wish I was dead, which is, I'll never forget that. It was so fucking funny. And we laughed. And that's the thing that I knew she was serious. We laughed and she didn't.
I knew she was serious as well because the smoking area that we were in at the time was such a dank little small corner.
Yes, it was.
Hotel. Where I'm like, I can't understand.
Couple of fake plants there,
Yeah, you're living this lavish luxury lifestyle, apparently, and we are literally in a 1 by 1 meter square thing with 6 people.
Yeah. Yeah, we dove a little bit deeper, and it turns out that they don't really make that much. They don't make much money at all. They make
just
fuck all.
Run of the mill, stock standard, but the demands on them are if they're working in a restaurant.
So it's like it's sold to people. It's like you'll get to travel the world and see all these places, but you're actually making a pretty shitty wage when you're doing it, and the workload is excessive. And but then of course you do get like those weeks where there's like a 3-week break in between races. That pays off for you, but unfortunately you don't get enough. You don't get paid enough money to enjoy that 3 weeks. You kind of broke for those 3 weeks because you're not getting paid enough.
And look, I don't want to criticize, but I'm saying she also did get to spend an hour with the guys from the block.
That's true. Yeah.
In a 1 by 1 meter square.
I do wonder if she remembers us like we remember her. I doubt it.
No.
Yeah.
She was definitely.
She probably committed suicide by now. Actually, come to think of it. So I actually stumbled across this purely by accident the other day. And I sent this through to our Twitter, Greeno, and I'm glad you didn't watch it because I wanted to watch this with you. I just gave it one watch through, and I was like, and I think what I said to you in our DM was, what the fuck is this? Okay.
Yeah.
And so
you said, what the fuck is this for the show? So I'm like, I won't watch it. I'm going to save it for the show.
Okay. So now I have a couple of questions for you. Now, the first one is, have you ever heard of Formula E?
Well, that's esports, right? That's
no,
like the
it's
online
not.
version.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Okay.
No. So have you ever heard of Formula E?
No, well, I thought I'd heard of it. I thought that was the online version.
No, because esports is esports. So Formula E is real life racing cars in the real world,
No, I haven't heard of it.
Okay.
I know F1, I know F2, I know F3.
Okay, Greeno. Formula E is electric cars.
Oh, is this like that? What was the one where they did? It was years ago.
A1GP.
A1GP, that's the one.
It's nothing like A1GP.
Me and you watched
Trust
it.
me.
We're like, we stayed up all night. We're going to watch the first of
We were like,
A1GP.
we're going to support this. Yeah.
This is amazing. We've got fucking countries. We've got the exact same race.
Will Power was the driver for Australia. Do you remember?
Yeah. And we watched it. We're like, this is really crappy. Like, it's really bad,
shitty.
right?
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so Formula E, electronic racing. This is going to be interesting.
No, electric cars. So like battery operated cars.
Yes, I mean, that's what I mean by electronic racing.
Now I'm going to let this play, and look, I have many things to say about this, but I really want to gauge your reaction. So can you see the screen here? It's all good.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay, now tell me what you think. Okay.
Formula E is a highly competitive, fully electric racing series. 22 world-class drivers and 11 teams, including some of the world's biggest manufacturers, battle it out wheel-to-wheel on the streets.
Now, I do need to point out at this time that they do have some pretty big names racing in this thing. So
I'm already intrigued, to be fair, because I'm like...
Yeah. Well, it's motorsport, right? It is motorsport.
We've got good drivers. Who cares what the engine is? They keep on trying to scale back this engine in different ways. Like, we used to have, V10 F1s? Now I don't even know what they are.
Look, like I'm all for, like, I don't care much for the political discussion about climate change and stuff, but I do very much get interested in. I really do. I'm a very kind of pro, like, I'm a pro renewable energy guy at heart. It's just that our current base load of electricity that we use, it's not possible to replicate by purely renewable energy means. Like, so there's a scientific deficit there. There's a reality deficit there where people are like, let's ban all coal mining. It's like, well, you don't understand how much we need it. I'd love to. I agree with you, kind of. But
I'm with you. We just need to find other ways to create energy.
Yeah,
it's a different argument.
But. Yeah, but I'm all for, like, progression and science and technology and racing. Like, it would be hypocritical of me to sit here and say that I want to ban all performance enhancing drugs in sport and say, by the same token, well, we shouldn't advance motorsport technology any further.
Energy basis and make them more, like, effectively cheaper and more efficient.
Well, but again, I don't even care about that. I don't care about it. I don't care if it's cheaper or more efficient. I'm like, I just love the scientific discovery nature of it. Like, hey, actually, we made these super fast cars that run purely off a battery that runs your watch. I was like, yeah, I'm down. I want to see that shit. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, this is the motorsport equivalent of letting all the athletes take performance enhancing drugs. This is the same thing. Now, the other thing that appeals to me about this is every single track is a straight track. There's no circuits. It's all straight tracks. So it's Monaco, Gold Coast. I love straight tracks. Straight tracks.
Everyone loves a straight track, except for the fact you can't overtake in a lot of them. Yeah,
but it's the whole thing about the walls. It's the environment that I like. It's buildings and walls, and it's hardcore. Yeah. It's hardcore. It's street racing, Greeno.
Oh, yeah.
So I love a good straight track. Now, straight tracks are imperfect as well. Like it's not a track; it's a road.
I haven't seen the rest of the clip, right?
Yep.
And you've already a little bit poo-pooed the idea of Formula E. Hear me out. I know nothing about motorsport. You know nothing about cars. Between us, we're going to fix it. Street races, where the streets aren't closed off.
Like Need for Speed.
50 laps.
Cannonball Run.
During school hours.
It's Cannonball Run.
It's going to be series. School hours. Yeah. You got to go down to 40 for a bit, and then I'd watch that.
So you have to adhere to the speed limit, and the traffic lights as well,
and the traffic lights, everything. And
then it just becomes rush hour. We're all in that race. We're all doing that.
But they're going to be electronic, and people will watch it. It's going to be amazing.
Okay, so I'm pro street races.
Across the crossing.
I'm pro street races. I'm pro technological advancement in motorsport, and I think what the engineers and the scientists do in motorsport is fucking phenomenal. So I'm all for it. And they do have some former big names, like Nick Heidfeld races in this series. Formula F1.
Former Williams driver.
Negative for the Formula E series is Takuma Sato has already.
No,
yes.
He's going to be He's going to fucking fuck up these electric cars.
I knew I'd get you with Takuma Sato.
I love me some Takuma Sato.
Oh, I love it too.
We've got a madman on the track. That's the one, right?
That's the one. We've got a madman on the track. All right, so we're 12 seconds into this clip now. All right, let's play on.
I'm down on the Formula E. We've got Takuma Sato. We've got street races. We're doing school zones. It's gonna be amazing.
No. See, you haven't yet seen what I've seen. Your opinion will change. Trust me.
Okay. Let's see.
Let's carry on.
World-class drivers and 11 teams, including some of the world's biggest manufacturers, battle it out wheel to wheel.
That's the other thing too. I like that there's Nissan, I want more I wish Formula One had more teams. I wish there was more manufacturers.
More teams that Max Verstappen just dominate.
Oh no, well I'm a Max fan, so I can't condone that.
Yeah, Max, but I gotta tip my hat.
I'm a Red Bull fan and a Max fan, so I can't complain.
Fuck me, he's just too good at the moment.
Yeah, well, he is the king. Like he's broken record. Like the whole it's the car. The whole thing that it's the car, not him. It doesn't really wash. Well, no, because when Schumacher was dominating, Barrichello was coming second every race.
Yeah, exactly. Sergio's not dominating. Everyone else is Max is just he's a freak.
He is a freak. He's the next level.
He's got a car that's perfectly tuned to him. Yeah. And he's also a freak.
And the other thing too is for Max, he's also matured a lot as well. I don't know if you've noticed. He's a different guy than he was a couple of years ago.
There's a difference between Max. The reason Max wasn't winning 4 years ago is because he was a young talent who made bad decisions.
Yeah.
Now he's a young talent that's matured and he's making less bad decisions.
Yeah, he makes a lot of good decisions.
And it's a lot easier, and I suppose it's also a lot easier not crash into people, whereas what he was doing historically when you're always out in front. But
when he's out in front and someone else is chasing him, but it's he reserves his pace though as well. He'll be out in front by 5 seconds, and then second place starts taking chunks of time out of him, and then he just puts in through 2 or 3 best laps, but one after one after one, until he builds the gap back up again. He's like, okay, I kept him back.
The last race, Lando was catching up to him, and I think the Red Bull people said, "What are you doing, Max?" And he's like, "You told me to slow, basically." You told me to watch my tires, and then he put in 3 quick laps and just gapped him by 3 seconds. Yeah. And I was he's just fucking toying with him at the moment.
So yeah, he is toying with the whole field. He is the guy holding the toy, and the cat is batting the toy.
He's turning. I don't like him as a person, but this year, the way I've watched him race, I'm like, well, he's
just a professional.
It's not like the old day. Remember, like you said, it was Ferrari of Schumacher, Barrichello. The Ferrari was just way quicker. Yep. The year of Brawn,
McLaren with
Coulthard and Hakkinen.
McLaren with Lewis and fucking Mercedes with Lewis and Valtteri Bottas. They were dominant.
Yeah, it's not like that. It's Max is just fucking too far ahead.
He's too good. He's too. Yeah. By the way, side note: do you think Vettel will come back next year?
No.
I hope he does.
I'd love to see him. I've turned also on Vettel.
So much. I actually love Vettel now.
I love him too.
He's so funny.
When we started this show, the moniker was Sebastian Vettel, biggest faker in F1.
But because that was in the middle of the Webber versus Vettel rivalry, so of course we're going to take Webber's position because we're Australians. So fuck Vettel.
I've come to love Sebastian Vettel in the same way I've come to love Fernando Alonso, and I'm starting to turn a little bit on Verstappen. I still think he's a wanker, but he's a wanker with a shit ton of talent.
Yeah. And Verstappen is a guy, he cares more. I think he legitimately cares more about his sim racing, e-racing team than he does about his real life formula. I genuinely believe that. It's so true, man. He cares more about racing on iRacing than he does about Formula One. I think Verstappen is the kind of guy who will be when this has been a pretty boring season, he's come out and said, I wish that there was more challenge. Like I think he's legitimately bored. Like if you listen to his post race,
where
good race, everybody. It's another good one.
Another good weekend.
He's bored out of his mind.
So bored. He's like, well, I just fucking lapped him. Like,
yeah.
Can someone get close? So at least that year when he had Lewis, like,
yeah,
and they were fighting till the last race. That was the year that brought me back into F1 because that was good racing. And then Max has ruined it with his dominance the last 2 years. But
I pray more than anything as a Formula One fan. I just want Fernando to win another
one more race.
Not even a championship, just one more race.
So I want, I'm with you. I want one more Fernando win.
Because he's now like he's at the age like Fernando Alonso is my favorite driver. Greeno knows this. He's like for me, Fernando is the GOAT. Like he's the best. He won 2 world championships in 05 and 06
with Benetton.
Renault Benetton. But he finished second like 4 times, I think, as well. So he could easily be like a 6-time championship winner, but it was just bad luck or like one race or whatever that prevented him from doing so.
Well, he also drove in the same era as Lewis, and Lewis always had the faster car. So.
Well, yeah, but Fernando might have got clipped by somebody during the season that cost him 10 points, and it was those kinds of things. And he lost. I think it was 2 or 3 championships by less, like 1 or 2 points as well. So he finished second by 1 or 2 points, like 2 or 3 times. So he's arguably one of the unluckiest Formula One champions of all time as well. Like he could have won so many more, except he got a lot of bad luck along the way. But Fernando for me has always been the go. And I always feel like if Fernando was in the fastest car, he would be just as fast as anyone, if not faster. Even though he's like 42 years old now, he still fucking wrings the neck out of that fucking Aston Martin.
Yeah, he's proved that this year.
Oh, he's ridiculously fast. Could you imagine, like, just say next year, Red Bull, because there's talk like Red Bull's going to rehire Danny Rick. It's like, why don't you grab Fernando? Just see what happens. Put Fernando against Verstappen and see how it goes.
Max would never allow it.
Yeah, well, he might not.
Because he knows Fernando would fucking be right up there.
Well, yeah, he might not beat him, but he would fucking push him all the way.
He'd be right up, 100% he'd be right up there.
And I'd love to see Fernando in a dominant car just one more time. Just one more time.
He was this year. At the start of the year, we're like, oh man, this Aston Martin.
It wasn't dominant, but it was the best of the rest at the start.
The best of the rest. I'm like, if Verstappen gets one DNF, he could actually get this win we're after. But
just one more Alonso win, because I reckon it would mean so. I reckon he would cry on the podium. It would mean so much.
Without doubt.
Because it would be like 10 years since his last win or something. More, 12
if not
years.
Longer, yeah. Like it would have been back in the McLaren days, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so 2010, I reckon, was probably his last. Can you Google that just quick? When was Alonso's last Formula One Grand Prix win?
Looking it up as we speak.
A double champion. And it's been so long since he won a race. But I always feel like it's bad luck. He's been in bad cars basically for the last 10 years as well. But he's still just as quick as anyone out there. It's ridiculous. There's a whole documentary you can watch, by the way, if you're interested in this, about Fernando Alonso's driving style, which is what makes him kind of Fernando. The fact that he drives it differently to everyone else. He kind of throws the car into the corners where everyone else is a little more scientific about it. He's very much like a feel kind of guy, He likes to oversteer the car, and like the arse of the car swings out, and he
2013, 2 wins with Scuderia Ferrari.
Wow.
He had a win in 2018 in the Le Mans 24-hour.
Yep. Different category, different series.
5 wins in the FIA World Endurance Championship, WeatherTech, and then another win in Le Mans. And then hasn't won anything since. But 2013 answer your question. Regards to
and he almost won I think he almost won the championship in 2013 with Ferrari too. He probably just missed out by a few points there as well, I think.
Here's the interesting thing. How many race wins do you think Fernando's had in his career?
Oh, it's not a lot. I would say like maybe 20-ish.
Yeah, you're not far off. He's closer to 30.
Okay, yeah, so like 27, 28.
For a two-time world championship, two-time world champion, only win like 30, and he's had a career. He debuted in 2001.
Yep.
And he's only had less than 30 wins in a 22-year career.
Verstappen, by comparison, just clocked up his
He won 30 this
50th.
year.
He's won his 50th win just not long ago.
Yeah,
and he's only been in the sport 4 years, I think.
Oh no, Verstappen's been in the sport a long time.
No, 5 years.
He started when he was very young.
No, but he's been in Formula One for like 5 years, I think.
No, I think it's less than that.
Okay, Google, when did Max Verstappen debut? I'm guessing it's going to be like around the 2017 mark because Vettel was still racing. 2016.
2016.
Okay.
So he's been racing for 7 years.
7 years. Okay, yeah.
A long time.
2016 though. Red Bull wasn't really in the ascendancy in 2016. That was well and truly in the Lewis Hamilton era.
Yeah, 16, 17, 18 is Hamilton era.
Yep. So he was really only challenging for wins from
21, 22, 23 is when he kind of started to kick up.
So he's won 50 races in the last 3 years, basically.
3 years, pretty much. Well, hang on, let's have a look. He won racing career, Formula One. Wins. First race win was he did win in 2016. He won 1. Okay. 2017, he won 2. 2018, he won 2. 2019, he won 3. 2020, he won 2. And then he's gone 10, 15, and 17 the last 3 years wins.
Yeah, the last 3 years have
That's fucking ridiculous.
That's the Verstappen era.
He went 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, and then he's gone 10, 15, 17. Still like 3 races to go.
Look, I as long as Fernando...
He's at 524 championship points this year.
Yeah, he's actually scored. Like we were having this discussion.
He's won the constructors.
Yes, we were having this discussion on Twitter in our DM group, and about the constructors championship. Christ. He has scored more points on his own than any other 2 drivers have scored for their team combined.
This may be the greatest season in F1 history.
Yes.
Like, hear me out.
Yes.
Okay. Let me go through these races, right? He has not had a DNF yet. Okay? We have got 2 races to go. Here's what he's done this year. First, second, first, second, first, fifth, first, first.
That 5th would have been Singapore, wouldn't it?
It was.
Yep.
So he's gone, what's that? Fucking 2, 4, 6. It's a fucking lot of races. He's gone first, except for he's got first every time except for 3 races this year.
Yeah.
And then 2 of those 3 he came second, and then he came 5th in Singapore. He hasn't missed out on the points any point this year. This is literally the greatest F1 season in history.
It is. It is. I was going to say, like,
boring, but until I put it on a page and I'm looking at these results, I'm like,
he's a freak.
I'm really taking this year for granted.
Yes, we all are. I think this is like we're witnessing like a Bradman kind of level of greatness here.
Like he is almost going to clean sweep.
Like Lewis never did this in his height when he had the dominant car. Schumacher never did this in his height when he had the dominant car. No. Nobody did. And the Red Bull isn't as dominant. Hear me out. The Red Bull isn't as dominant as the Ferrari was, as the Mercedes was, like as the Brawn was for Jensen. Like it's not. It's clearly not.
Otherwise, Checo would be fucking.
Checo's not a mug guy. Checo's a fucking quick driver.
He's a good driver, yeah.
So, I just think we are witnessing like the coming of age of potentially the greatest of all time. You know, we're watching like Federer. You know, like
this is ridiculous.
So I was going to say, as long as Alonso is driving, he will always be my favorite because I just love Fernando. But I think the day he retires, and look, people will say, oh, it's because he's winning. It's not really. I think that Max will be like my favorite driver, I think, when Fernando retires, because I just think he is the fucking king. He's an almighty force.
It's just ridiculous.
I think of that race this year. Daryl's in the chat. Daryl's an F1 fan. Daryl, you remember this? I think it was the Red Bull Ring. So, do you remember at the Red Bull Ring, he was leading by like a pit stop, right? He was leading by like 40 seconds or something. He was so far in front. He had no reason to do it. He came into the pits, right?
Yeah.
Put on a fresh set of tires to get the fastest lap on the last lap of the race. And I remember saying to you and Brad and fucking Troy, I said, that's king shit. That's what a king does, you know, in racing. It's like,
no, the best
he's taking unnecessary. His engineer was like, "There's no need to do this. Don't be an idiot." And he just fucking fired into the pits. He like, "No, I'm coming in. I want to get the fastest lap." And so he fired into the pits. He had a pit stop up his sleeve, and he came out like only maybe 7 or 8 seconds, but in front of the guy behind him, he was 40 seconds in front of him. And he got the fastest lap on the last lap of the race with a fresh set of tires just because he could. And that's fucking rock and roll motor racing.
The best one was the week after, where he radioed into the pits. He's like, what do you reckon? A bit of pit stop practice for the fastest lap?
Not again, Max. Not this week.
Not this week, Max. That one is the one that got me.
Yeah.
Like the casual, like he's literally going 300 kilometers an hour on the back straight. He's like, how do we feel about a pit stop practice? I'm like, okay, that's a fucking boss move, that one.
I was saying to you before the show, actually, like this will entrench my. I don't hate Lando Norris, but I dislike him definitely.
Yeah,
I don't like him, and so I've been watching these. You should check them out. The high performance interviews with the various Formula One.
My 700 baseball podcast that I normally listen to.
Yeah,
obviously finishing up because the year's over. So
yeah,
I'm on to new ones now. So I might have to check out that one.
High performance. The Mark Webber one is very good. The Toto Wolff one is very good. The Gunter Steiner one is very good. Jos Capito or whatever is how you pronounce it. The Williams guy is very good, and the one is the Lando Norris one. Lando Norris is a very boring person. He's not interesting. He has no insight. He's not an interesting person to listen to. He might be a nice guy, you know, don't get me wrong. He was a rich kid, which he had.
He seems like a very miserable human.
I don't know if he's miserable. I doubt he's miserable.
He seemed miserable. Like I watched him over the weekend.
He's just not interesting.
And he came second and third.
It's just not interesting.
And just
I think he's a meme.
Like,
I think Lando Norris is a social media meme. I think Lando Norris like does his fucking streams and his Twitch stuff and like so. I'll give you this challenge when the baseball season is over, Greeno. I want you to listen to 2.
Well, the baseball season's finished.
Okay, so I'll send you 2 links, and the 2 links I'll send you is the George Russell High Performance podcast interview.
Well, I'm just going to start subscribing to that podcast.
Okay, well these are old ones though. So this is going back a while.
But that's what I do. I go back and listen to old ones.
Okay, so you need to specifically. I want you to listen to specifically back to back. I want you to first listen to the Lando Norris one, okay, and then listen to the George Russell one because George Russell and Lando Norris raced against each other when they were kids. Yep. They're friends, okay, so and they're both around the same age, right? And they've had different journeys. And I want you to tell me who is the more insightful / intelligent / interesting out of both of them. Lando Norris, I find, he's got a lot of social media buzz, and the girls love him and all that stuff.
But he's a pretty man,
but he's actually a very boring. He's a boring person. He's a boring person, and I can't imagine being anything worse than being someone who's boring. Like he's not funny. He's not he's not insightful. He doesn't offer huge intelligence. He's just boring. George Russell, I found like his interview. I found intriguing.
Like George, I must admit.
Well, George Russell is a guy who sent an email to Toto Wolff as a 15-year-old or something, saying, "Hi, I'm George Russell. I race in British Formula 3, and I'd really be interested in talking with you about, I'd love to learn more and join Mercedes one day," or something like that. He took a punt. He got Toto Wolff's email randomly, and he was like, "They've just won the championship. I'm going to send off this email because what have I got to lose?" Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And Toto Wolff replied within 5 minutes with his PA in copy and said, "We'll talk in January or something." And then next thing you know, a month later, he was in Toto Wolff's office.
There you go. Wow.
Whereas Lando Norris was the guy who.
I feel like Lando feels like he's owed it.
Yes, there's a bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah, like he always has. Like I feel like the interview I see, and I feel like this weekend was a prime example of what I talked about. He just seemed very miserable, even though he came second and second. He feels like he's owed a win. Like he feels like, oh, I should be on top of this podium. It's like, no, you got to fucking earn it.
Daryl,
and maybe that's why he's not.
Greeno, Daryl in the chat brings up so this is Leclerc is the one that we forget about in Formula One.
I'm a massive Charles Leclerc fan. He's just like Ferrari is a bit of a basket case.
Yeah, he drives for Ferrari, so that's his problem. Like, if he was driving for Red Bull, he'd probably be winning a championship too, right now.
He wouldn't be far off. Yeah, he'd be doing better than Checo.
If you think about it, the reason Leclerc now has Ferrari is clearly a quick car over one lap, right? So because what he's got, he now has the record of the most pole positions without a win. That's not a record you want.
He's won a race, hasn't he?
No. So if you qualify on pole and don't win, he's got 10 of them. That's not a record you want.
That's because he's racing against Max, and Max
no. It's because he's in a Ferrari. Because a Ferrari is really good over one lap.
Well, that and they fuck up their strategy constantly.
Exactly, or something breaks, or something fails on it. Like
they always make the wrong decision, no matter what. Like it's like, do I undercut? Do I overcut? They always take the wrong.
Leclerc is wasting the best years of his life at Ferrari. I think. Mm-hmm. He should.
Well, I thought last year we remember race one. We're like, oh man, this Ferrari is a rocket.
Yeah, it is a rocket. It is a rocket over one lap. It's a really good qualifying.
They had unreliability. Then they kept on fucking up the strategy. Then they kept on making bad. Yeah, it was just bad choice after bad choice. And next thing you know, Max the world champion again. But
Daryl saying Lando is upset he didn't get signed for a big team after his first season. I don't think that's true. I think he's a McLaren boy through and through.
Yeah, he's got a long-term contract
Lando.
now.
Yeah, oh no, he's McLaren for life. I think because I would suggest
he's the one that got Danny Rick fired.
Basically. But Danny Rick deserved to get fired. He was terrible.
He was, but the reason is they set up the car solely for Lando.
I don't think that's true. I think Lando. No, I don't think that's true. I think the Red Bull is a different car to the McLaren. Like it handles differently. You need to do different things to get speed out of it.
Danny Rick's the only one that's got a McLaren win in the last fucking 15 years.
Yeah, Lando's got. 6 seconds this year?
He's got a lot of seconds.
Yeah, because he's racing against Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
I think to be fair to Lando in that respect, look, I'm not gonna. I don't want to defend Lando because I think he's a little bit of a pretentious little prick. But that doesn't. That's not guiding my opinion on that. I think he's a boring person. I genuinely, if you listen to those two interviews, George Russell, I'm not even a big George Russell fan. I kind of like him. In that, he seems like a very professional team man, which is something that like resonates with me. But Lando, I feel like Lando is like the pretentious kid who just. I feel like Lando is a bigger prick over the radio than Max Verstappen is, and always has been.
Let's switch their positions and see how much of a prick Max is, because I remember how much of a prick Max was when he was in Lando's spot in the grid.
Perhaps. But I think, the McLaren is a different car to the Red Bull. And there's actually videos you can watch on YouTube and stuff. And racing guys will analyze the difference and like the handling difference and stuff. And the McLaren, like, for example, Danny Rick likes an understeery car because he just wants to chuck it in and flat it. Whereas the McLaren doesn't like that. So it will push too much through the corner and he can't get the speed out of it and stuff. So it's very interesting stuff. So I think Lando has just been with that team for so long.
I don't mean to interject. Are we literally still only 11 seconds into this video?
Yeah, we are. So Lando has been with that team for so long that I think he just understands the car more than anyone coming in.
I think so. And
although Piastri is pushing him this year, isn't he? Piastri next year will be interesting.
Look, if you look at the overall championship, look, Lando is still like lapping him. But I feel like Oscar's been quite competitive. He's a rookie. He's taken a win in the sprint race.
Yep.
I feel like give Piastri another year in that car, and he's going to be like him and Lando are going to be neck and neck.
Yeah, I feel like Piastri's going to push him next year. Definitely.
I'm excited about Piastri. Like, we had this massive like gulf before Webber. So when Webber came in, we hadn't had an Aussie since 82 with Alan Jones there or thereabouts, which is fucking before we were born. So we'd never seen in our lifetime a driver in F1 from Australia until Mark Webber. So Webber's was our boy.
Yeah, the last one before him was Alan Jones, which was like around the time we were born, basically. Like he won his last championship. Yeah.
Literally what I just said.
It's a long
like
time.
Word for word.
It's a long fucking time.
And then we go lucky because then we go, oh, Danny Rick's here, and then now we've got Oscar Piastri. So we've kind of been blessed that we've at least had an Aussie there. We just need someone who's going to fucking dominate. It'd be lovely to see.
Well, we thought we'd have it with Danny Rick, didn't we? When in those Red Bull
we
years.
thought we were going to have it with Webbs, man. Like we had that night. I remember coming over to your house where it was like the final race, and Webbs had a chance to win the championship, and it just didn't end up happening. But
Webber is arguably the most unlucky driver in Formula One as well.
He really is.
If there's a compilation you can watch on YouTube, I'll throw it up in our Discord later.
Such a talent.
Oh yeah, there's a compilation of Mark Webber like unlucky incidents that you can watch, and it's like actually when you watch all of the things back to back to back, he really probably is the most. Because I remember that was a narrative back when he was racing. Like, God, Mark Webber is so unlucky. Yeah. But you don't notice it at the time, and if you watch it and someone puts it all together, you're like, holy shit, he really probably was the most unlucky driver in Formula One history, kind of thing. Like, got fucked out of 2 championships, got fucked out of 20 wins. Like, it's just ridiculous. All right, let's get back to this. Formula, because we got another video to do after this, Greeno.
There's no one after this. Fuck me, bro. We need to wrap it up.
I know it's going to be a late one. So let's watch this. Yeah, I know it's going to be even later. So this is
only 2 hours
I'm
long.
sorry. I need to show you these next 2 videos, Greeno. It's not our fault that we're so conducive to good conversation. I'm sorry, Greeno. Stick around. Stick with me here. I promise you'll get something out of this. So this is Formula E. This is electric cars. Okay, let's have a look.
Let's watch the video.
On the streets of iconic cities, racing at speeds of up to 280 kilometers per hour and accelerating from 0 to 100 in just 2.8 seconds.
Quick.
The 45-minute plus 1-lap race format produces high-intensity racing, with teams and drivers battling on a level playing field, thanks to identical batteries, tyres, and aerodynamics. Unique features like attack mode and fan boost makes Formula E anything but a traditional motorsport.
And wait.
That's why I paused it, because I knew that you would pick up on the exact thing that I picked up on it. You're like, hang on a minute. What?
Hey man, this is great. Like, this is all fucking very cool. We're talking like identical power units, blah blah blah. And it's like, fan boost?
What is fan boost?
Let's get an understanding about fan boost, shall we?
Yes, we shall.
We can fuck this right off.
Because the way they started off, it seems like good competition.
It's
okay,
great.
this is
like,
good.
this is amazing. I'm going to watch this race.
Yeah. And you're like, hang on, wait, what? The way they just slice it in there as well. They're like, and also we've got fan boost, which makes hang on, what?
Identical batteries, tyres, and aerodynamics. Unique features like attack mode and fan boost makes Formula
attack mode, Greeno.
No, attack mode's DRS. That's fine.
No. It's not. Trust me. Wait till you see it. Wait till you see it.
Anything but a traditional motorsport. And for the 2022 season, the cars have an extra 20 kilowatts of power to play with, meaning faster and more furious battling, but still with the crucial need for teams and drivers to manage energy efficiently and strategically to finish the race and secure victory. This is the pinnacle of electric racing. This
electric racing, Greeno,
is Formula E. For season 8, a new qualifying format will see the fastest drivers go.
Okay, so this is the thing that I really wanted to draw your attention to here, Greeno.
Man, until I need more understanding about the fan boost, but
no. We'll get to fan boost. Don't worry. But first, I want to bring you to qualifying. Now, I think that the thing that we love about motorsports is the simplicity, right? So you're the fastest guy, you win the race.
You win a lap. Yeah.
If you're the fastest guy over a lap, you win the lap. Now, Formula One used to be qualifying. Everyone would go out for like half an hour or whatever, and whoever set the fastest lap, they start on pole. Second fastest, second. They changed it in the last 20 years, where it's like now it's like the kind of, it's not a shootout, but it's like
and they did the shootout for a little bit, and then they went to the Q3, Q2, Q1.
So the 5 slowest drivers after Q1 they drop out, and then it's the next 5 drivers or whatever they drop out, and then it's the top 10 for the last 15 minutes. But that's all. Like, I think what we appreciate about it is the simplicity of it. Yeah. So I want you now that the fact that we appreciate the simplicity of qualifying, it's that, like, if you're the fastest qualifier, you start on pole. All right. Now I want you to try and understand this qualifying system that Formula E has. Okay.
Going head to head in a 1-lap shootout to decide the Julius Baer pole position.
Because really, ultimately, what we like about motorsport is the simplicity. Like, if you're the fastest, you win. All right? Have a look at this shit.
A group stage will see 2 groups of 11 drivers get a 12-minute session to set lap times, with the fastest 4 from each group progressing into a knockout stage, where drivers will go head-to-head over 1 flying lap.
Okay.
Starting with the 8 fastest drivers facing off in the quarterfinals.
What?
The fastest in Group A going against the 4 fastest in Group B, the fastest in Group B going against the 4 fastest in Group A, and so on.
Why?
Those quickest will progress into the semi-finals and onto the final, leaving one final pair battling for the Julius Baer pole position.
Alright, okay. I get it. It's convoluted.
You're losing me here. Come on, I'm trying to be a Formula E fan, and you're losing me. You are so overcomplicating this.
Tell me who's the quickest in qualifying and put them at the front. Like, it should not be that hard.
Now, the V8 supercars, what they do is they have like a half-hour qualifying session, and the top 10 finish up in the shootout, and then they all have 1-lap runs, and whoever finishes on first finishes on first.
What they didn't explain,
these cunts have quarterfinals and semis and shit, Greeno, in their qualifying.
What happens with those semis, right? So if you're in the semis, do you have to go off against another semi guy to work out who's 5th and 6th? That's what they didn't explain that.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
What if there's a tie break, Greeno? What do you do
let's
there?
See what else is. Let's see what else is going on.
And 3 championship points. The winner and runner-up will start on the front row.
Why? This is so unnecessary. Now, wait, it gets better. Wait until you see what the fucking action zone, like the activation zone or whatever it's called is.
The semi-finalists on the second row. Quarter-finalists filling the spots between 5th and 8th based on lap times. And the remaining positions
God.
Oh, there we go. That answered my question. But it's overcomplicated.
It's so overcomplicated.
So ranked by lap time and which qualifying group they started.
Do a bunch of laps. Give them an hour.
Give them an hour.
The fastest lap at the end.
They win.
You're at the front.
Yeah,
who's the slowest?
I think I like
you're at
that
the end.
too. Yeah.
Everyone in between. There you go.
I really like that too.
Have a crack. Yeah. Good luck.
Guess what, guys? It's a 20-minute qualifying session. Do your best. Okay, that's how you'll start wherever you finish. Okay, done. Now, wait till you see this shit. Okay, this is next level stuff, Greeno.
Attack mode is a step.
Attack mode is an extra power mode that gives drivers an additional 30 kilowatts of power after driving through an activation zone off the racing lane.
Activation zone, Greeno.
It's risk versus reward, as drivers might lose time or positions initially, but the added power gives them a chance to make them and
a longer route to get DRS.
No.
I don't hate that.
No, wait for it.
Positions back and move themselves up the order. The additional power lasts for a set period of time. This duration and the number of activations required changes from circuit to circuit.
The number of activations required.
No, there's different DRS numbers no matter where you go. It's fine. God. There's 3 DRS zones in some tracks. There's 1 in others.
No. So what they're saying is you have to take the outside line like a certain amount of times before you get this limited power boost once per race. Greeno.
Okay.
So what they're saying is you need to
risk reward. I don't hate that.
No. But wait, everyone is forced to do it.
With the teams only provided with this information on race day. Attack mode is a fundamental part of race strategy in Formula E, and all drivers have to use it.
All right.
But what if I'm quicker not using the attack mode? What then?
What if I'm dead last? I'm 9 laps down.
Yes.
I should go through the exit.
Why should I drive off the racing line to get a 20 kilowatt power boost for the next indeterminate amount of time based on the fact that I finished 4th in the quarterfinals of qualifying? You know? Fucking
I'm
hell,
going to attack the leader when he's overtaking me for the second time. I'm looking forward to that. Anyway,
But the decision on when to activate can be the difference between disaster and winning the race.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Fan boost.
Now, fan boost, Greeno. Wait till you hear about fan boost. Now, I think we need to start a campaign to get Lando Norris out of Formula One and into Formula E.
I'm going to go back to that last one, and I'm trying not to pull on the show because I'm already exhausted and it's fucking almost midnight.
Yeah.
But back to that last one. I actually don't mind that last one because what it's saying is you need to drive this route to basically get DRS.
Yeah. But you have to do that route a certain amount of times.
Yeah, which is fine. I don't mind that. You got to do that 3 times to get a power boost. Now, it becomes a strategy thing going, well,
So
the fact
silly.
it's forced is stupid, but I don't mind it. It's kind of like, hey, do this, and then you might get some extra power. Is it worth the risk? So I don't mind that. Anyway, fan boost, let's have a look at this bad boy.
You don't mind that? So let's see what fan boost is all about then.
Boost gives you the chance to vote for your favourite driver to unlock a short 5 kilowatt boost of power.
Yeah, fuck off now. And I'll tell you why I'm saying fuck off now. It's because I have seen Lando Norris win driver of the day.
When he's completely undeserving.
6 straight races. When Max has won by like a minute and a half because it's a British audience.
This is like Big Brother Formula One.
It's either Lewis Hamilton or Lando Norris is the driver of the day every fucking week because it's a British audience voting on it.
You can vote. Okay. You can vote to give someone a power. Now, see, what they need to do is vote to give people a power reduction. That would be entertaining, right?
Now we're talking, yeah.
Yeah, because if one guy's like 30 seconds in front, everyone's going to vote to be like, no, let's kill his power for 10 laps.
Yes, now we're talking.
Boost of power that can be used to help them make a critical overtake or defend against the cars behind.
Good job. Keep energy under control.
This is racing by social media.
I don't hate it. I think your idea is better than their one, though.
Yeah, reduce the power.
A power reduction. Because imagine how good would this be this year if we could say, yeah, we're going to cut Max's power off for like 10 laps. How much better would this year's championship have been?
It just makes the racing less serious, though.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it becomes it's because Mario Kart.
That's a very good analogy. It is Mario Kart. You may as well throw fucking banana skins out there.
Put some banana skins out there.
Coconuts, Greeno.
Fire boosters.
Can we shoot fire boosters from the front of the car?
It'd be good, yeah.
5 drivers with the most votes will unlock the extra power boost to be used in the second half of the race by pressing a button on their steering wheel.
My God.
That's ridiculous.
Okay.
All right, now look, I'm 3/4 in on Formula E, to be fair.
Yeah.
The fan boost is fucking stupid. Your idea is way better. You're a fixer. And everything else, I actually don't mind. I think that kind of like DRS version needs some tweaking, but I don't mind it. It's kind of like...
It's a gimmick.
Look,
it's gimmicky.
You can take... Yeah, it's all gimmicky, but...
No, I'm not for gimmicks.
You can get some extra power here, but you got to take this risk, so...
Well, you're more progressive than me, then it turns out in motorsport.
Well, I'm just so bored by fucking Max winning every week. I'm trying to realize. So
I really don't like that gimmick stuff. I think the fastest car and the fastest driver with the best team should win, and that's the bottom line. No fucking fan boost, no fucking.
Yeah, no fan boost is ridiculous.
I'm not even a fan of DRS. I don't think DRS is fair. I don't. Just because you're a second behind someone doesn't mean you have a right to overtake them. That's what DRS has become. As soon as you're within DRS range, quote unquote, you're basically guaranteed to overtake them now. And I don't think that that's good for the sport.
You're also meant to take in their turbulent air and fuck up your tires a bit more as well. So
well, no, but if you look at 90% of the overtakes since DRS came in, they're casual overtakes down the straight. That's not the kind of overtake that you want in motorsport.
That's more overtakes than we're getting otherce. So at least there's some. But
it's not even really an overtake. It's like a wave to the guy when you go past. It's not racing science. It's not. But the reason they introduced it is because you take away all the DRS overtakes. There's no overtaking because of the aerodynamics. But look at the root cause. The root cause is the aero.
Yeah.
So if you strip the cars back and you make them the beast that they were, you don't need DRS then. It becomes more. I'd actually love to see Max and Lewis and the other Fernando would probably dominate in Formula One cars that have far less fucking aero on them. Where he can just chuck it around like a rally car, like he used to back in 2005.
That was meant to be the case about 8 years ago, and it just never ended up happening because they took away the power steering.
Yep.
They took away something else.
Yep.
And then it was like, oh, these cars are gonna be undrivable, and they're still driving them like.
And now it's cost cutting, and now we've got this. Now we've got this kind of it's like a weird salary cap thing, which I hate. You should never put a cap on innovation. I don't think. So if someone can come up with a way to exploit whatever the current rules are, you should encourage that because the rest of the field should be like, oh, wow, they thought of that and we didn't. That's what Red Bull's done this year and the last couple of years.
It's found ways to be quicker,
Yeah, they're like their floor, their fucking DRS system, like their aero. Now every team in Formula One is looking at Red Bull going, shit, we need to copy what they're doing. And that's why they've actually caught up over the last half of the year, even though Max is dominating because he's Max. The rest of the field is actually getting a little bit closer because they're looking at what Red Bull's doing going, Jesus Christ, these guys got it. And that's because Adrian Newey works for Red Bull and Adrian Newey is a fucking, boy genius. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. I want to show you this one before we go out tonight, Greeno. Do you like reality TV?
Zero interest in reality TV. Well, okay. I guess it depends on your definition of reality TV. I like watching cooking shows.
Yeah.
I don't like watching cooking shows that try and create drama.
You don't like drama.
I don't like drama. I don't like fake drama.
I've come to like reality TV, but the reality TV that I like,
not real reality. That's a problem.
Well, the reality TV I like is pretty real. It's like Deadliest Catch, that fishing show.
That's fine. I don't mind those ones. Yeah. We had a conversation with someone in my team during the week, and they were talking about how they were an attendee at a married at first sight wedding. And he goes, it was
that's not my kind of reality TV.
No, but he's like, it was the funniest thing ever. Like, they're giving their vows and like, okay, now let's do them again because now we're going to shoot it from a different angle.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, no, that's not my jam. I like.
I'm not into that.
I like the kind of blue collar reality shows, like the gold digging shows, gold mining, Bering Sea Gold, Deadliest Catch, Gold Rush. I love those shows. Yeah. Big Brother, not a fan.
No, none of that shit.
Reality cooking shows, no, I don't think I like. I know you're a fan of like MasterChef.
I like MasterChef because they generally try and avoid.
I've never watched MasterChef.
Drama.
It's
more about the cooking.
The one that I have watched, sorry, Greeno, the one that I have watched a little bit of is that Great British Bake Off. I was okay, I got into that a little bit. Because it's all about Paul Hollywood in that show, though.
Yeah.
The old guy that all the old women love,
The old biddies, yeah.
Gets them moist. They haven't been moist. They're like sandpaper down there, and he gets them moist. He's a fucking genius, Paul Hollywood. Oh, the muffins are fucking fantastic. Yeah, blah blah blah. They love it. So yeah, been into that, but yeah, not a big fan of the reality cooking shows.
Fair enough.
What, the old girls that love Paul Hollywood?
He got me.
Oh, mate, he's a grey-haired demon, mate.
No, I get it. I see Paul Hollywood. I personally never find him entertaining, but that line was very funny.
The sandpaper,
yeah.
All right, so I want
to moist, yeah.
I want to show you this. So this is a new reality show that's coming out in the United States. Mersh retweeted this earlier, and I just happened to be on Twitter, and it was like, oh, okay, I'll click the video. And my response to him is, what the fuck was going on? What the fuck is going on here? So have a look at this, Greeno. Tell me what you think. Reality TV.
I'm Lena the Plug. I am an adult creator.
My name is Adam22, and I co-own Plug Talk with my lovely wife.
Okay, so this is Lena Plug, Greeno. She's an
Lena the Plug.
Lena the Plug. Now, she's not an adult performer or an adult actress. She's an adult, Greeno, quote unquote, creator.
Okay. Content creator.
Content creator.
And we've got Adam22.
Adam22 is the co-owner of the business that Lena the Plug works for. Okay.
Adam22 sounds like a Twitter handle of someone who's just got a lot of racist opinions and doesn't want to use a real name out there.
Oh, no,
That's
I
all I'm
don't.
saying.
To be fair to Adam22, with this kind of tattoo situation, I don't think he has many opinions on anything. Okay.
Nice, Gary!
I really don't. His political opinions would be, can I skateboard here? I think.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Dude, bro. I think actually we might be selling Adam22 a little bit short. I think Adam22 would be fully on board with our political stance here on this show, which is yeah, nah. I think he's a yeah, nah kind of guy.
He's our target audience. Right
I think he really is.
Yeah.
So Adam22 co-runs the company.
I guarantee in that mesh of tattoos on his chest, there's a Southern Cross somewhere.
Now, can I ask you, genuine question, Lena the Plug, yes or no, smash or pass? Smash a ball, but not a definite.
Yeah, I think it's smashable, yes. It's definitely not like a guaranteed.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like, let's chat with her a little bit first before I make a call. It's not a, hey, I need to go over there. It's a 50-50 call.
Yeah, she's not my type, you know.
I'm into the ethnic type generally.
I know, yeah.
Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like she's going to give me a lecture and make me a bad souvlaki.
Feel like her dad's going to try and shoot you or something.
100% getting that sense.
I say I'm generally more of like a blonde hair, blue-eyed kind of guy. But I do like, I've got a soft spot for like the Indian girls and, that kind of South American kind of look. I kind of like that as well. She doesn't really do it for me, this one. But
I'm not sold, She reminds me of Mum from Mother's Group.
Yes, but she's do a bull, but
a bull, but not like
not a guaranteed. Yeah, definitely not.
Adult creator.
She's an adult creator though, Greeno. So you have to factor that in.
Is Adam22.
Now it's definitely a pass.
And I co-own Plug Talk with my lovely wife. We interview a different girl every week.
And then we them at the end.
So they interview a different girl every week and then fuck them at the end, Greeno.
We've only ever
these
done
girls.
Yeah.
Like, are these just random girls or these are girls in the industry?
No. These are girls looking for stardom, Greeno. So their show is, they bring in newcomers and then they have like a little kind of contest and then
have a three-way.
Yeah, but shit's about to change, Greeno. Shit's about to get real here.
All right, I'm intrigued. Let's find out.
This is the new reality show that's hitting TV in the United States very soon.
I'm intrigued by this one. I'm actually watch this bad boy.
All right, have a look.
With other women.
So we've arranged this whole challenge to find the perfect guy to be our first ever boy-girl threesome.
Let's blow.
Let's go.
Lena, I came ready to. You want to do a dance-off?
Oh yeah, I would love to see a dance-off.
Tell me this guy does porn?
Let me get in the room with her by herself.
You want to get down?
No.
Get down. We're going to get you out of the situation.
It's taking so long to get this approved on YouTube.
And it's called For the Love of Lena.
Nice.
Lena the Plug. All right, that's a good turn. All right, so this is basically old mate Adam22's way of telling his partner he's gay, I'm guessing.
Sorry, I just realized we didn't play the video on the stream, so it only goes for 45 seconds. Let's play it.
All right, let's go
Plug.
again.
I am an adult creator.
My name is Adam22, and I co-own Plug Talk with my lovely wife. We interview a
Plug
different girl
Talk,
every
Greeno.
week.
And then we them at the end. But we've only ever done it with other women.
So we've arranged this whole challenge to find the perfect guy to be our first ever boy-girl threesome.
Lena, I came ready to.
Can I just say, by the way,
Want to do a dance off?
so they've obviously got a history based on what they were saying that so they've been doing this series for a while where they find a new girl every week and they both fuck them. Now it's the guy. Now it's another guy. Now I want you to look at the Adam 22's face when he's like, for once, it's going to be two dicks.
Yeah.
That's the look of a guy who's had two pussies for the longest time, and now he's going to have two dicks.
Now he's got a problem.
Yeah, he's definitely got a fucking problem. I reckon this was her idea.
Oh, yeah. I think it's this guy's idea. He just doesn't want to admit it. That's my point.
Yeah, that's probably worse, isn't it?
This whole challenge to find the perfect guy to be our first ever boy-girl threesome.
Lena, I came ready to.
Now I want this guy to win.
100% guy to win. Obviously, this show's a setup, as is most reality TV. So we know that guy's not going to win, but for the comedy value, wouldn't it be sensational if that guy? Because what's the end game? Like, they announce the winner, do they show the video?
Of course, they have to. Otherwise, what's the point? Now the question is, would you jerk off to this guy, fucking Lena the Plug, Greeno? With the bow tie on?
The Devil's Threesome? I don't know. Who knows?
It's a time and place thing.
I'm somewhat intrigued now with what Lena the Plug has to offer with Adam 22 and blue bow tie.
Adam 22.
Want to do a dance off?
Oh yeah, I would love to see a dance off.
You telling me this guy does porn?
Let me get in the room with her by herself.
You want to get down?
No.
Get down.
What about this guy? What do you think his chances are, Greeno? Face tat here.
Well, I'm
face tat, gold teeth.
Gold teeth. I'm intrigued by what he's asking. He's like, you want to get down? Is he asking him to fight, or is he asking like, hey man?
I think so. I don't really know gangster. I don't know modern street urban gangster talk, Greeno. Get down used to be, get down and shake your booty.
It
used to mean party. Do you want to get down? Hell yeah, I want to get down. Let's get down together. Fuck
get down with your wife, I guess.
Get down with anyone. I don't mind. Do some bags. Like, fuck
Wednesday.
Sounds like fun. But the way he says get down, you're right. It's like, wait, are you trying to shoot me, or are you gonna beat me up? Is that what you mean? That's what I mean. I don't get the modern language anymore.
So we're gonna get you out of the situation.
We're gonna get you out of the situation. What do you mean? She's my wife.
No,
this is our show. You've been invited onto our show.
I'm
not leaving this situation. You are, if anyone's leaving. I don't think you understand your contractual arrangement.
You should have gone for the bow tie, dude.
I don't think Mr. Face Tat here understands his contractual agreement, Greeno.
Also, if you go back to that dude, the back of that dude's shirt, he's got a uniform that says "fuck you."
Fuck you, 81. Greeno.
Yeah, well done.
Yep. Oh, it's edgy, though, isn't it?
It is edgy.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this one.
Take us so long to get this approved on YouTube.
There you go. For the love of Lena, Greeno.
For the love of Lena. There you go.
Nice, Gary!
Last way to end the show. Look, you know how I'm going to end the show, though? I'm going to give a plug. We don't normally do plugs at the end of the show.
Yeah. Well, Lena the Plug, Greeno. We just did a plug at the end of the show.
100%. Proudly brought to you by Lena the Plug. Our boy Pessy is apparently doing like a reality month.
Okay.
Where he's rewatching reality shows on his stream.
Okay.
He was watching Passions recently, so this is an improvement.
Yeah.
But go check out our boy. I don't know what stream he's on anymore.
I think he's on Rumble these days. Joy of Pest.
There you go. The ad we usually play. We've done a 3-hour show, even though we're an hour late, and we still played no ad.
Has been an epic show today. Like,
listen to the last episode. The ad's in the middle somewhere.
Yep.
Pessy, our boy's kicking some ass over there. So go check out Pessy. He's doing some good shit.
Fucking hell.
That's the only plug I got for this week.
Irrational Times did a birthday show for the lovely assistant this week. So I've retweeted the show. It was a few days ago. So if you go back through I don't do much on Twitter these days. So it's probably only 2 or 3 tweets ago. So if you go to BoogieBumper tweet and look for the Irrational Times, the birthday show for the lovely assistant. And she is the lovely assistant, his lovely wife. So, you know, give that a watch if you got nothing to do. Fucking why not? Yeah, that's a
And
that's
if you
a
want,
plug
go
for
check
you.
out Lean to the Plug.
Yeah, of course. Lean on the plug. Would you go on a reality show, Greeno, to fuck a porn star?
No.
No?
No, I wouldn't.
No? What if you were single?
I don't even like doing this show, to be fair.
Well, that's a fair point, isn't it?
Yeah, like I don't like doing a show where we are in the shroud of secrecy that is on a podcast. Why would I go and embarrass myself on a show like that?
Yeah. Well, would you fuck a porn star on a reality show if they weren't filming you fucking them?
Yes.
And misogynists and chauvinists and sexists.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
See you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
We'll always be bosom buddies, friends, sisters, and pals. We'll always be bosom buddies. If life should reject you, there's me to protect you.
If I say that your tongue is vicious,
if I call you uncouth,
it's simply that.
Who else but a bosom buddy will sit down and tell you